touchdown pass in overtime. Kansas City wins the game.
Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. Do me a favor. You also can stream the show. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you can stream video, you can stream the show as well. We are very excited to be here this week. We have a lot of fun stuff planned. I'm planning for the next month. I don't know about you guys, but I'm planning on the Chiefs taking care of business in these next two home games, a bye week, and them also going to New Orleans. I'm locked in for the next month. Hopefully you are as well. We do have a lot of general NFL today. The Chiefs were off because they were the 1 seed in the AFC. We had 5 wild card games. We still have one more wild card game to get to. That game is in the NFC. So we're going to talk a lot about the games that we watched this weekend, also the top storylines. Again, happy to be here. My name is Carrington Harrison. Rob Brenton is here as well, getting you ready for the divisional round as the Kansas City Chiefs are set to take on the Houston Texans. We are still working on Pizza Tassio. I want Pizza Tassio back on the show. If you know the owners, tell them that the Drive wants to do a deal. I don't have anything to do with this. Rob, you don't have anything to do with this, but hit us up directly. We want to go back to giving the people some pizza. But I still want you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive every day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. I also need you to tell one friend. I don't need you to tell 2 friends that we used to give away the best pizza in the city, but now we just give out mediocre sports takes here on 96.5 The Fan. This is where I would like to begin the week. The point seems very obvious, but I do think as we are kicking this week off, it is something that needs to be said. There are 2 rewards that you get for being the 1 seed in your respective conference. Number 1 is you automatically get to advance to the second round. You don't have to play this week. No wear and tear, no potential injury. You can sit back, rest, and relax. You can have a kid the way that Patrick Mahomes did. Congratulations to him and his family. Maybe Travis Kelce was out spending time with his pop star girlfriend. Maybe you went sledding. I saw that the offensive line went to church. You spend your bye week however you see fit. That is what you are rewarded when you take care of your business in the 4-5 month regular season. So you get to automatically advance to the second round. You don't have to worry. You don't have to stress. You can kick your feet up and you can enjoy Wild Card Weekend. That's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is the path that the Chiefs now have in front of them. We all knew that there are 3 contending teams in the AFC. Kansas City's in one corner, Buffalo is in one corner, and you have the Bills in the other. Last year, when the Chiefs were not the 1 seed and Baltimore was the 1 seed, you had to beat 2 of those 3 teams. You had to go on the road and you had to beat Buffalo, and then the next week you had to go on the road and you had to beat the Baltimore Ravens. This year, everybody gets to come to you. You get to play the Houston Texans in your first matchup. And no disrespect to Houston, but they are not the same caliber, the same weight class as Baltimore or Buffalo. We're talking about 2 teams that have potential MVP quarterbacks, 2 teams that are playoff and battle tested. You only have to play one of those teams when you're the 1 seed. You get to play Houston. Houston's a nice story. Got a very good quarterback, good head coach, capable defense. We're not going to look past the Houston Texans, but you much rather play Houston than have to go on the road and play Buffalo or have to play Baltimore. You don't have to worry about that when you are the 1 seed. Your path is easier between the 2. So you get really 2 benefits of being the 1 seed. Number 1 is you get the automatic bye, you get the advancement, and you get to sit back and rest. And your pathway is it's lined up a little bit differently. This is going to be really, really tough for the Baltimore Ravens. You got to go on the road to Buffalo and follow that up with potentially going on the road to Kansas City. That's a really difficult path. That's why you got to take care of your business in the regular season, and you got to amass as many wins as humanly possible. Who cares about the score? Who cares about point differential? At this point, it is a very simple pass or fail. Did you win, or are you going on vacation? The Chiefs took care of their business in the regular season, and they have, in my opinion, the most favorable path of any team, at least this week, with who their opponent is. And you feel good because one of those two teams who were two heavyweight contenders, either one of those teams is coming to Kansas City to have to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. There was another observation that I had this weekend as I was watching Wild Card Weekend that I want to share with you guys. There are no shortcuts in this thing. I'm sure at some point today we're going to talk about some teams that have either tried some shortcuts or think that they can do it a different way. You think that you can go sign Kirk Cousins in free agency and think that this 35-year-old man is going to help get you to this point in the season. Or maybe you traded for a 40-year-old quarterback who had to go to a darkness retreat to decide if you wanted to play with your team or not. You think that there is a different pathway to success. Look at the teams that are still alive in this postseason and notice what they have in common. It is the investment that they have made at the quarterback position. Now, you need to do some other things correctly. The Lions, they got the quarterback. They traded for Jared Goff. They've also built the best offensive line in the NFL. You hit on Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams. Your patience has paid off. He's turned into one of the better young receivers in the league. You hit on running back with Jahmyr Gibbs. Their defense is improving. It's not just get the quarterback and then you're good. No, you got to put the rest of the work in. But if you look at the teams that are still available or still alive in this thing, Kansas City spent the top 10 pick. Houston spent the top 5 pick. Buffalo, top 10 pick. Ravens spent a first-round asset to go get their quarterback. Commanders, top 5 pick. Lions, their quarterback was the top 5 pick. There are no shortcuts in this thing. The path is simple. You need to invest in the quarterback position, and you need to build an infrastructure around them. If you are another team in the AFC, for the last 2 seasons, it has been the same 4 teams that have made it to the final 4 teams in the AFC. Look at the investment that those teams have made. Look at the kind of quarterback that they have. Look at the pedigree at the position that they have. And you think you're winning with Aiden O'Connell at the position? You think that Gardner Minshew is going to get you there? You think that you can go trade for Aaron Rodgers and that's going to get you a shortcut where you can skip the line and now you're the best team in the AFC? You are fooling yourself. We made this reference last week when talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. You got to put your own work in. You got to draft. You got to develop. You got to build. You got to show patience. And you have to hope that you have the right infrastructure in place to give you a long-term path to viability. That's what Kansas City has. That's what Houston has, Buffalo, and Baltimore. So as we're looking at the AFC playoffs and getting ready to determine who has a chance to go to the Super Bowl, you got to look at what the teams that have had success, what they've done. And it's been very simple. They've gotten it right at head coach, whether it's with Andy Reid, Sean McDermott, John Harbaugh. So you've gotten it right at head coach. You've gotten it right at quarterback. You've tried to put weapons and skill position players around your quarterback. You have built a stable franchise and organization around them and allowed them to flourish and go out there. Football is a lot more simple than these owners and general managers make it. The path is very simple. Look at the teams that are still alive in this thing. It is not hoping that your 5th-round pick who is a backup quarterback somewhere else, it is not hoping that he's going to come here and have success, and that's what's going to get us to the top of the AFC. That is not the pathway to doing this thing. So I'm really excited to be here with you guys today, really excited to break down this week in the NFL. It was a sleepy wild card round, but you know what? We'll get through it, and I think there's a chance at the best game of the weekend, and last night's game was very good between the Commanders and the Buccaneers. I think there's a chance that the best game of the postseason, at least this round of the postseason, is coming up tonight on ESPN. All right, let's step aside here. Coming up, I need you guys to hold me accountable. Because sometimes I might be a little bit ridiculous with my takes. And you might be looking at your radio like, what is Carrington talking about? I don't know what I'm talking about. But I am here to tell you guys that I made a mistake last week, and I have made a mistake the last couple of years that I want to promise to you I will never, ever make again. I'll tell you what that is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. On your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey guys, it's Cody and Alex to let you know that if you're looking for that new career, Centric is the place you want to go. Look, you've been sitting around in a job you don't like anymore, and you want to try something new. I get it. Who wouldn't want a job with better pay, better career advancement, and better opportunities?
So if you've been thinking of a new career, the new year is a great time to start. Classes start in the middle of January at Centric. Contact our friend Russ. Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
Hey, Chiefs Kingdom, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig, an absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit CrownRoyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 5.25% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
6.19 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
We're talking with Dr. David Bach, board-certified urologist at Kansas City Urology Care. What's the most important thing men should know about prostate cancer?
I would strongly recommend PSA testing. It's a simple blood test. It's inexpensive. And basically, every male over 50 should be having this PSA once a year. Prostate cancer is the second leading cancer killer of men.
And why should they go to KCUC?
We not only treat more prostate cancer than anyone else in this part of the country, we also start with cutting-edge diagnostics to offer the most precise diagnoses of prostate cancer using ultrasounds and MRI. We can offer surgical, medical, and radiation types of treatments. And even for men who require additional therapies, we're able to offer all that at a single site.
Get your PSA level tested by the experts. Kansas City Urology Care. At KCUC, you see the best in KC. To make an appointment, visit appointments.kcuc.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-353-9057. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-353-9057. 800-353-9057 or biglou.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Okay, so that's with bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, ketchup, and hold the pickles.
You know what you like. You wouldn't order your burger just any way. Why should your sports talk be any different? With Chapters on the free Odyssey app, you can choose the topics that matter to you most. Whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news, quickly find what you really care about. Your football talk, your way. Download the free Odyssey app and start listening today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome to your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
I want to start this segment out by coming to you guys humbly and admitting where I potentially have been wrong. For quite some time now, I have been nicknamed and labeled Chargers Dot on this show. And I have leaned into it a little bit just for the entertainment value of the show. It's funny. But deep down, I do think the Chargers are a good team. I like their head coach. I like their quarterback. I like their jerseys. They had a good defense. They had a good season. Sure, it's tongue-in-cheek. It's entertainment. It's a radio show. But I don't have anything against the Chargers. But if you guys want me to be Chargers Doc, then sure, I'll be Chargers Doc for you. If you need a villain, then I'll play the villain for you. I stand before you guys asking out of this contract. I haven't received any of the benefits and you guys calling me Chargers Dot. Now, just last week on this radio show, I told you guys that I thought you guys were being unfair. I thought you guys were being unfair to Justin Herbert. I thought you guys were being unfair to the Los Angeles Chargers. And you know what hit me as I was watching the game? Do you guys know the story of the Emperor's new clothes? Where this emperor thought that he had on this fly outfit and everybody else was telling him how great he looked. And the only person that could see that he wasn't wearing any clothes was the kid. The kid was the only one that could see through the nonsense and could see the emperor for who he really is. We had Daniel Popper on this show a couple of days ago, and he called Justin Herbert an elite quarterback. We could find various media people that have told us Justin Herbert is that guy, that he's one of the top 5, top 8 quarterbacks in the National Football League. And people like me say, yeah, and we point to the cool little fantasy football stats that are out there, and he looks the part. Golden hair, 6'6", 240, rocket arm. He has all the talent in the world. And then they start playing the games. I'm here to tell you guys that Justin Herbert is a catfish. Is what he is. That's what he is. He is an NFL quarterback catfish. For those of you that don't know what a catfish is, let me give you the Urban Dictionary definition. It is a slang term that refers to somebody who has created a fake identity to trick others into believing that they are in a real relationship or friendship. And the goal is often to gain money or other favors from the victim. I'm telling you that Justin Herbert is a catfish. He is masquerading as an elite level quarterback when he is Ryan Tannehill with better hair. I'm telling you that Justin Herbert is masquerading as an elite level quarterback when he is Sam Darnold with more consistency. I will never, ever in my life come on this show again and try to speak the praises of Justin Herbert. He will never fool me again on this show. Never. Can we go through some of the stats from his last game? Because it is incredible what we just saw this past weekend. It almost defies NFL logic what we just saw. Did you guys know that this season, Justin Herbert threw 504 passes? 504, that's a lot. In those 504 passes, my friends, he threw 3 interceptions. That's an incredible ratio. That's an incredible percentage. He had a quarterback rating of over 100. Justin Herbert in October is brilliant. Justin Herbert in late September is maybe the best quarterback in the NFL. There's not anybody you will want more than Justin Herbert when it's late September. Did you guys know that he threw 32 passes on Saturday and he had 4 interceptions? He had a quarterback rating of 40.9. I didn't even know that numbers went down that low for what your quarterback rating is. I had absolutely no clue. If it wasn't for that meaningless long touchdown pass to Lat McConkey, it would have been the worst playoff performance in a decade. I saw this stat. Did you know that in the last 10 years, I think there have been 204 quarterbacks that have played in the postseason? Did you know that behind Brian Hoyer, and you guys remember Brian Hoyer started the playoff game, the first playoff game the Chiefs won in quite some time, that was the worst performance in the last 10 years. Right behind that was Justin Herbert on Saturday. I'm saying all of that to ask you guys for your forgiveness. I have made a terrible mistake. And I've wasted your time on this show that is very valuable. There's a lot of other radio shows that you could be listening to. There's a lot of other things that you could be doing with your time. And the fact that you spend any part of your life listening to me and Rob ramble about nonsense, I am very grateful to you. You have afforded Rob and I a very nice life by you listening to the show. Thank you for doing that. I apologize to you that I've ever wasted your time trying to sell Justin Herbert to you. He is a catfish. He is a lemon. He is a fraud. He is not real. The Chargers are not real. They have wasted too much of my time. They have wasted too much of your time. And I am now going to start my own rule because I've come to you humbly and asked for your forgiveness and asked for your permission. If you call me Chargers Dot on the text line, I'm blocking you. I have to get negativity out of my life. I want Justin Herbert out of my life. I want those powder blue jerseys out of my life. Stan Humphries, Natron Means. I want all of them out of my life. I might not even charge my phone the rest. I don't even want Chargers around me. If you call me Chargers Dot today on the text line, I got to block you. I got to. I've asked you nicely to not call me that anymore. Call me anything else. Call me idiot, loser, nincompoop. Please do not call me Chargers Dot on the text line. Please don't.
Let me ask you a question about Justin Herbert. So you are outspoken. You might be the leader in the city, the clubhouse, the country, whatever you want to use, of being down on Trevor Lawrence. Is it possible Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert are the Spider-Man meme?
Yes.
Because there's a lot of eerie similarities because while Herbert was not talked about in the same light coming out of college that Trevor Lawrence was, remember, he also had some, look at the physicality, look at the traits, look at the features. He was good at a prominent school we all watched in college, too, in Oregon. And then they both came in the league, and they both got big contracts, and they've both done diddly-poo as NFL quarterbacks. Is it fair to say the way you have talked about Trevor Lawrence since he entered the league out of Clemson is now the way you're going to talk about Justin Herbert? Because they seem like it's the Spider-Man meme, because if Lawrence didn't have Herbert, he'd be 0 in the postseason. And if Herbert had the popularity in college out of Lawrence, he would be crushed more at a national level. They're the Spider-Man meme, the two of those guys.
Yes. I don't have anything. Maybe you were expecting that I was going to back and forth. We were going to have a joust there. You're right. I have been very critical of Trevor Lawrence the last 3-4 years. I admit. They're the same. Justin Herbert puts up good fantasy football numbers. That's what he does. Justin Herbert is the quarterback that you go get the other things you need for fantasy football, and then you take a look at your screen when you're doing the live draft, and you think, oh man, snap, I missed a quarterback. I missed out on the actual good quarterbacks, the one that could actually help me win this thing. You know, Jalen Hurts is going to run for touchdowns. Mahomes could potentially win MVP. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Hey, I need a quarterback. You know who's a safe one to go get? Justin Herbert. He's safe. He'll throw for 30 touchdown passes. He won't throw a lot of interceptions. He'll put up some good passing numbers. He's going to give you a good floor and a good baseline. And then when the postseason comes around, when the games matter the most, he turns into Mike Glennon. I'm done. He's 26 years old. This is the end of his 5th season in the league. He has as many postseason wins as you and I have. I'm out. I'm done. I will not do this again with Trevor Lawrence. I won't. You can do it. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm denouncing Chargers Dot. We don't have a lot of rules on this show. You guys know on the text line. Don't spam the text line. Don't be racist. Don't be homophobic. As long as you don't do those things, you're cool. You might disagree with me. You might curse. I'm not going to block you. If you call me Chargers, we have an issue because I've asked you nicely not to call me that anymore. I'm changing my name. I don't want to be Cassius Clay anymore. I'm changing a name. I don't want that anymore. Please don't call me that. If you call me Chargers, we have a problem. I don't want to have a problem with you. We're starting a great week. Chiefs looking to win 3 straight Super Bowls. Let's leave the Chargers in our rearview mirror. I'm done talking about those losers. That's what they are. They're losers. Now, we're going to talk a little Cowboys here. I don't know why I said we're done with losers, and we're going to talk about the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy coming up in a little bit, but follow me here for a little bit. I want you guys to think about the weekly outrage that happens with the Kansas City Chiefs regarding the officials. Every week. Every single week. The Chiefs just never beat anybody. It's always the ref's fault. Oh, you guys are the media darlings, Vegas. Oh, the NFL wants you to win. Every week. Yesterday, I'm sitting there, and Sean Barber can attest to it. I was sitting right next to Sean Barber. And we're talking and, just having a good time, little fellowship, little guy time. And I look up at the television, and I see there is an official talking to Josh Allen. That's not abnormal. Why did this interaction stand out? Josh Allen is sitting down on the sideline, and the official is standing over him talking. When have you ever seen that in sports? We watch a lot of sports, Rob. Text line, you guys watch sports. Some of you guys are older than Rob. You've been watching sports 40, 50 years. When have you ever seen the official go over to what is a team area and start talking? Not where the ref is still on the court and the coach is on the sideline or the player. I'm talking about this would be like if the umpire went into the dugout and started conversing with Bobby Witt Jr. This would be like if the NBA officials sat down next to LeBron James and they are just having a conversation. That's highly inappropriate. You cannot do that. You cannot, as the official, you don't feel weird. You got to walk past the head coach. You got to walk past the guy who's standing up holding the first down marker. You got to step over the television wires. And then you go over to this man, Josh Allen, as he's talking to a coach or he's getting water. And then he pats you and then you pat him on the head. Whatever you guys were talking about, that couldn't wait till he was on the field. You're going to see him again. It's not like Josh Allen is some special teamer that doesn't play. He's the quarterback. During a commercial break, when he's out there, go over there and have that conversation. What was so important that you had to leave your area, which is the field, and go over to his area to talk to him about what was going on? It didn't make any sense to me. Well, Josh Allen tried to make some sense of this. This was his story.
When the ref came over to talk to you, like all the way to the bench, what was he saying? What was going on?
It was that after I wasn't happy with what was going on, and I was yelling a little bit, and he just said, "Don't be yelling." So my bad. Sorry to Bill. Huh?
Did he apologize?
I won't say anything about that.
Oh my goodness. Lying is incredible. You're telling me that Bill Vinovich was so upset that you yelled at him that he came over to your area to discuss it with you. Not when you were on the field, not during the game, not during a commercial break. He was so upset about what the conversation was between you two. He then walked over there to talk to you, to ask you to stop yelling? That referee should be suspended for the rest of the playoffs. I'm serious. I'm not even joking. Sure, we're having some fun with this. I'm serious. I've never seen anything like this before. Not once in my entire life. I've never seen an official go over to the sideline and start talking to one of the players before. Again, not like the official was standing on the field of play and the player was on the sideline and they're going back and forth. Josh Allen is sitting down on the sideline and the umpire comes up to him and they start having a conversation. he should be suspended for the remainder of the playoffs. It just looks highly inappropriate. And you guys know, and I know, if there was video of an official going over to the sideline and talking to Patrick Mahomes while he was sitting there, the internet would crash. The internet would crash. It would be, see, I told you guys it was fixed. I told you. You cannot do that. Let's go to the phone lines right now to be joined by RJ Choppy. He is with 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, covering the Dallas Cowboys. The top story right now in the league is that the Cowboys, they do not have a head coach. They have let the contract expire with Mike McCarthy, and he is now a free agent. That means the Dallas Cowboys do not have a head coach. RJ, I know I want to talk to you about the Dallas Cowboys, but I'm not crazy, right? I've never seen a scenario where an official came over to the sideline to talk to a player the way we saw in the Bills and Broncos game this weekend. Have you ever seen that before?
I haven't. I haven't seen anything like that. I mean, it happens, like, you'll see officials talk in other sports to the players, but it's on the field, never like coming over to the sideline, going to the bench in an NBA game, so going to the dugout in baseball. So, no. I haven't seen anything like that.
It was absolutely crazy. It blew my mind. I thought I was like seeing something. Then I started seeing it on social media. Like, wait, no, this actually happened. It blew my mind. All right, I want to get your thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys. Thanks a lot for joining us today with this breaking news story. Give us the 411. What happened here in Dallas? Because there was a report that a team tried to trade for Mike McCarthy, and then the Cowboys blocked the trade, but now they're just going to let his contract expire? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, but nothing here makes sense. Nothing here ever makes sense. Not with the current the regime they have. Look, I think at the end of the day, Jerry looked around the league, didn't think any of the candidates were an upgrade, so he was like, all right, I guess I'll just stick with Mike. But then what he was going to do was wait this thing out to the last minute, hoping Mike would just take whatever lowball offer they were going to give him. Jerry wanted to. He talked in the last press conference he gave about an incentive-laden deal, which that's not something you give to a coach who's been coached for 20 years, right? That's something you do for a first-timer. And, I mean, I think at the end of the day, the numbers are just off from a year standpoint. Mike, I'm sure, wanted what a normal coach gets, which is 4 or 5 years. And Jerry probably wanted to do a 1 or a 2 year deal. And that was just a non-starter for McCarthy.
RJ, how do you think Cowboys fans are going to remember Mike McCarthy's time in Dallas?
Oh, that's a good question. A successful failure, like, they won 12 games 3 years in a row. Like, that's not nothing. Like, that's nothing to sneeze at. But they didn't get the job done. He did not do what he was brought here to do, which was go beyond what Jason Garrett got them to. Jason Garrett got them to the second round of the playoffs. So did Mike. Mike didn't get them beyond that. Is that a little arbitrary that it's just like, you have to get to this round? Sure. But, I mean, it's just the way it is. It's football. So, I mean, look, it wasn't a bad tenure. It was better than the previous one. It was better than Jason. It was better than Wade. It was better than Parcells. But at the end of the day, it wasn't enough.
Right now, we're talking to RJ Choppy for a couple of minutes. The top story in the National Football League is that the Cowboys have decided to move on from Mike McCarthy. If you had to take a look inside the short list on who the Cowboys' next head coach would be, who would be on that list? I'm guessing Ben Johnson from the Detroit Lions would be on that list, but they're about to start their playoff push here. Who would you say is on the short list for the Cowboys?
Honestly, from what Jerry has told us, and this is what he was talking about when they moved on from Jason, they were hiring Mike. He wants a coach that has coached in the NFL as a head coach. He doesn't want someone, to what he said, and we were talking about Lincoln Riley at the time, learning on the job. He didn't want someone learning on the job. I don't think Ben Johnson's in play here. I don't even think it's an option. Like, just based on what Jerry has talked about, the things he has said in the past. I think Kellen Moore would be, even though he's in the same boat. Jerry would view it as he discovered him. This is all about, credit for Jerry. This is going back to Jimmy Johnson. He wants the credit. He wants the credit for discovering someone. So if you're looking down that road, it's Jason Witten, it's Kellen Moore. I think if you want to go the other route where it's like a former NFL head coach, I would not surprise me if John Gruden wasn't the coach next year.
I actually don't know if that's a bad suggestion for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't love it. I much rather go get a 30-something and 40-something, but he seems like somebody that would definitely excite Cowboys fans.
Yeah, he would. I mean, but there's baggage with him. There's no doubt about it. But if any organization can get away with it, it's this one, because this one doesn't care about outside PR. They just don't care. Like, they operate in their own mom and pop world. But yeah, it's like, I would much prefer the young hot shot. But again, I don't know that Ben Johnson wants to deal with it here either. I mean, like, he wants to have an understanding of coach, GM, owner. Like, he wants that. The rumors are he's very particular about that. Well, you're not going to get that here. You're getting what you're getting here, and it's a very unique job. It's a difficult job to have to navigate through.
Right now, we're talking to RJ Choppy for a couple more minutes here, getting his thoughts on the Cowboys as they have let Mike McCarthy go. RJ, if this had happened, let's say 4 weeks ago, do you think that Bill Belichick is the head coach of the Cowboys?
If Bill would have taken it, Bill needs. Bill wants. I think Bill wants control. I don't know how that would have worked here. I know. They say, and he says that he would have been able to work with them, but I don't know. I really don't. I was always wondering if Bill would actually go through with it, or if Jerry would actually go through with it. Because the thing is, if Bill were to come here and win a Super Bowl, Jerry's in the same boat he's in now. He would not get the credit for the title. He wants the credit for the championship. And that's why the coaches that he's hired have either been coaches that, needed a second, break, like Wade, like McCarthy, or Jason Garrett, or Campo, or Chan Gailey. Parcells was here just to get a stadium. Like, that's why he hired Parcells. He needed to rebuild the team and buy a stadium. So I don't know that Bill was ever in play.
I can't imagine having an ego so big that me owning the team, the stadium being called Jerry World isn't enough. I also need credit if the team actually wins the Super Bowl. I cannot imagine my ego being that big where I would worry about that kind of stuff.
I mean, it's a wild world we're in, man. It really is. It's like, I'm not a billionaire, so I don't know what it's like to have that kind of cash and have that kind of an ego. But I look, it's wild, but. Yeah, it's all about the credit. Like, he's not going to be satisfied. He wants to win, but he wants to win in his manner. He doesn't want to win. Like, he doesn't want to bring in Ben Johnson, and Ben Johnson, I don't just use his name. He might, but use his playbook, and Ben Johnson get all this credit for being the genius, and Jerry is like, well, yeah, I still don't have a title, because nobody considers the other ones his. They call them Jimmy's.
Last thing here, RJ, and I appreciate your time. The question about Deion Sanders is going to come up. Is there any chance that Deion is the next head coach for the Cowboys?
I think of all the college coaches, he would be the one that probably would have the most chance of being here. My question is, if Deion comes here, he's the face of the organization. It's not Jerry Jones. And, how much would that upset Jerry? I don't know. I think Deion's got a shot. There's obviously a relationship there. There's obviously a history there. You've got to know this franchise. I think it's a big part of it is knowing this franchise, knowing how to deal with it. You got to deal with the noise. Mike did a good job. McCarthy did a really good job handling the noise. You never heard him step out of line, say anything that was controversial or anything like that. I mean, he was pretty fantastic here dealing with everybody.
That is RJ Choppy joining us on the show today. He covers the Cowboys for 105.3 The Fan. Wanted to talk about the top stories, the Cowboys right now. America's team, they do not have a head coach. They have let Mike McCarthy's contract expire, and now he is a free agent. RJ, great stuff, man. Enjoy the rest of the playoffs.
You too, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. That is RJ Choppy joining us on the show today. I understand that we all have our egos in different ways. I mean, you need credit for if your team wins the Super Bowl? I mean, that sounds like problem number one right there with the Cowboys. If you want to know why the Cowboys have been in the position that they're in, it's because their owner wants to be in the videos, dancing, smiling, singing. That's why. Is there any other owner that feels that way? Does Clark Hunt care about that? You want the credit? Sure. Hey, you come out, you bang the drum, you get to wave to everybody else, but you stay behind the scenes, you play the back, you let Mark Donovan do his job, you let Brett Veach do his job, you let everybody do their job, and in the end, you get to reap the profits and the rewards of everything that's coming in. All you need to worry about is making sure that your football people got what they need and making sure that Taylor Swift's sweet is stocked up on the necessary treats. That's all you need to worry about. Seems like a great life. You want the credit. You want to be the general manager. This coach has to get along with your personality. It seems like a lot. If you want to understand why the Cowboys have been the Cowboys, you just heard right then and there from RJ Choppy why they have been mostly irrelevant for the last 25 years or so, at least when it comes to this part of the season. Coming up in just a bit, K-State fans, I hate to continue to have this talk with you guys, but don't think because we had Wild Card Weekend that we weren't paying attention and we didn't see the 30-piece McNugget you guys got dropped on your head at Bramlage Coliseum. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Team, I'll be real with you. Time isn't on our side. The Super Bowl is only getting closer. So I'm asking you all, what's it gonna be? Are you gonna do the same old, or are you gonna step it up this year? Who's going to the Verizon Super Bowl Fan Fest right here in Kansas City? Are you gonna join us for a Super Bowl experience like no other? Catch the game while hanging out with the league's most legendary players. Enjoy live music. Crush game day bites. The Super Bowl only comes once a year. Verizon Super Bowl Fan Fest. You in?
It's all going down at Kansas City Live in the Power and Light District. Tickets are limited. Don't miss out. Visit your local Verizon store and find out about free tickets today. Must be 18 years or older or accompanied by parent or legal guardian to attend. Terms apply. See VerizonFanFest.com for details.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000. Or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com. And I look forward to working with you.
Want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Ow!
Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door?
Or is it more than
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food. No matter what you're craving, from 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings, Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This afternoon, expect sunny conditions with a high of 25.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Patrick Mahomes joins CDOT every week during the season, right here on 96.5 The Fan.
You know, it's hard having this level of success. It's difficult. When you cheer for a college basketball team that can actually cut down the nets, every time you're playing people, you're getting their best shot. That's what it's like to cheer for the Missouri Tigers right now, especially when they're at home. Did you know that Missouri has a longer home winning streak than Kansas does? And I'm told that's the mecca of basketball, the toughest place to go in there and play. Teams are walking in there leaving with victories every day. They're not doing that when they come to Mizzou Arena. They're not doing that when they hear Mr. Brightside. They're leaving defeated. Not when they go to Allen, though. They watch that video. They feel inspired to give out a first grade ass whooping is what they've been giving out when they go to that place. But that's not the purpose of this segment. Missouri's sitting there right now, 13-3, undefeated at home, just having a fantastic season. KU, I'm watching them on Saturday. They're setting basketball back. They're playing some just nice 40-32 basketball games. Just effort, defensive intensity, and bricks. That's what they're just going out there doing, building houses, building shelters for people right now with the bricks that they're throwing up. But you know what? At least they won. Nobody cares if you win ugly. You won. K-State, you're a different beast. Rob, what happened to K-State? It wasn't that long ago. We were looking at K-State as they were going to the Elite Eight. Their coach was being courted by everybody. Are you going to take the Ole Miss job? You're going to take the Arkansas job. Maybe you'll go to Baylor. If we were talking about that. Rob, they got a hot and ready 30-piece this weekend. Hot and ready. They weren't in either of the games they played last week. They went on the road and played Oklahoma State. I don't even know why they got on the plane. They certainly didn't get on there to play basketball. They were not interested in trying to win on Tuesday night. All right, we're coming back home. We got Houston coming back into town. Why don't we get back on the right path? Why don't we get things going? We can do that now. We play well. We win this game. We get a quad one win. We're back on track. They got beat by 30. You got Texas Tech coming up. You got KU and Baylor coming up. There ain't a whole lot of sunny days coming up for the K-State Wildcats. They're looking at a bottom four. They're going to be playing in session 1 in the Big 12 tournament. They're going to be playing on Tuesday afternoon in the Big 12 tournament. Don't nobody want to play on a Tuesday afternoon in the Big 12 tournament. K-State's going to be playing West Virginia in session 1 in the Big 12 tournament. Colorado, don't nobody want to go to that game. They're paying you to go to that game. Those tickets going to be $2 to go to that session 1 on a Tuesday against Colorado. When did it get this bad for K-State? They look like a team that has quit. They look like a team that has quit and a team that is not currently listening to their head coach. The effort that they gave this week against Oklahoma State was embarrassing, and they were never in the game on Saturday against Houston. What happened to the Wildcats?
There was a time, I think it was on John Kurtz's 3 Mile podcast, and I apologize if I'm crediting the wrong podcast. Remember this offseason when Jerome Tang said to donors, if you bring me the money, we can bring you a natty?
I remember that.
That is a thing he said at one of the Catbacker events. He said the word natty. And then Coleman Hawkins, we find out, is making $2 million. It's like the rest of the roster is free, but even the NIL and the things aside, when you as the head coach of it, whatever team, K-State, the Chiefs, the Royals, it does not matter what organization you're a part of. If you start talking big expectations, your fans jump in and they join in big expectations. They start to get excited. They start foaming at the mouth. They had Coleman Hawkins, Brendan Haas, Doug McDaniel, like David Castillo, that 4-star guard they brought in. They were K-State fans in August were talking spicy about this team. You thought I'll talk spicy about KU football. K-State fans were hot and bothered by the hoops program. And now I saw the advanced analytics have them as the second worst team in the league. The only team worse is Oklahoma State, who you lost to head-to-head, by the way.
By, too.
This team reeks of Tuesday, Arizona State down in Kansas City at 2:30.
It ain't looking good.
Well, you know what? Me and you will go. We have no show, and we will be the only people there. You'll hear us both clapping for Tang. Woohoo!
I will not be at that game. No, thank you. I don't have any interest in being at that game. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get back to the NFL. Now, this is just from my years of watching Law and Order and watching crime documentaries. Most of the times, the criminals are actually, in fact, pretty stupid. It's not that the cops are super smart and they do some high-level investigative work to uncover your crime. It's that, no, you're actually really, really dumb, is how they eventually caught you. Can I tell you guys what this boy Jontay Porter was doing? Because when I read this story earlier today, it blew my mind. Do you guys want to know one of the ways that they uncovered this scheme that Jontay Porter cooked up? So for those of you that don't know, Jontay Porter was playing for the Toronto Raptors, and essentially he was point shaving. He would have certain people bet on the unders. He would fake an injury. He would get hurt. Something would happen so they could collect their unders and profit. Did you guys know that he was texting during the game? During halftime, he was texting the bettors updates on what was going on. They got the text messages. Why do these criminals not think that the police can't get your phone? Where do you think these text messages go? They're stored on here. You didn't erase them. You didn't delete them. They're up in the cloud somewhere. You're just keeping notes of a felony that you were participating in? So I'm reading this on January 23rd of last year, so almost a year ago. Jontay Porter was texting with the defendant. And it's like a series of texts. He really wants this guy to be up to date. He's really trying to inform him. Hopefully he had his notifications on. Jontay texted in, I went back to the locker room to get my eye checked on. I don't know if I'm going to play anymore. I'm not going to start the second half, but if it's garbage time, then I'm going to take 1,000,000 shots. They have more of your text. Jontay, you're stupid. I don't mean that to put you down. I mean that as more of an observation, more of a statement of fact. Why are you texting with someone your activity in a felony? They're trying to put you in jail for this. Federal custody, lockup. You're going to jail. And you're texting with them play-by-play updates? You might as well should have walked down to the precinct. First off, you didn't think it was going to register any alarms when somebody placed a major bet on Jontay Porter unders? You didn't think that was going to raise any red flags, and you did it 3 separate times. And then when they uncovered your phone, they see you talking to the individual, and you are basically giving them a play-by-play of your criminal endeavors. Stupid. I feel bad for Jontay. I honestly do. I feel terrible for Jontay. But my boy, I mean, you led him right to the crime. You left the bloody glove right in your living room. You left the murder weapon. It's in your trunk. How could you be so stupid? It doesn't make any sense. Absolutely no sense. Coming up at the top of the hour, let's get back to the National Football League. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers that are in a very interesting crossroads as an organization. Keep it right here. You're listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan as we recap Wild Card Weekend.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked #1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
What is GMTVCC? That's a mouthful, but translation for GMTVCC.com is Give Me the VIN Classic and Collector Cars. It's a brand new buying division of Give Me the VIN, but it's for classic and collector cars. Experienced pro buyers will appraise an offer on your 1970 Hemi Cuda or 1988 Fox Body Mustang or your granddad's old 1985 square body Chevy truck. GMTVCC.com is where you go to get real money for classic and collector cars to get paid now. That's GMTVCC.com, brought to you by Give Me the VIN.
Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City, now open. Dine on mouth-watering appetizers, then feast on one of our 6 American Wagyu burgers, including the Bacon Jam Burger and Blazing Burger. Wash it down with your favorite ice-cold beverage, all while watching the game on one of our 45 TVs. Dine in or carry out. Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City always hits the spot. Brew Brothers and Brew Brothers Express are now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
It's cold outside, and the cupboard is bare. No worries. Let Hy-Vee do the shopping with aisles online. It's easy. Go to Hy-Vee.com, choose your store, select your items, and schedule a convenient pickup or delivery time. Right now, get $10 off any $125 aisles online purchase. What could be better? We do the shopping and deliver your groceries. You stay warm and save money. Download the Aisles Online app or go to Hy-Vee.com today.
As the Chiefs go for a three-peat in the big game, Hy-Vee's making my life easier. Hy-Vee's my one-stop shop for all game day needs. From official Chiefs apparel to fan favorites, including wings, ready-to-bake pizza, and freshly prepared dips like spinach artichoke, street corn, and buffalo chicken dip. Hy-Vee has Chiefs-themed cookies and sheet cakes and cupcakes as well. Plus, don't forget the Hy-Vee Wine and Spirits department for all of your game day beverages. Elevate your home gate at Hy-Vee, the official grocery sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-214-3777. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-214-3777. 800-214-3777. 800-214-3777.
Stop. 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 Okay, that's enough of that. Kick out mucus and quiet the cough with Mucinex DM 12-Hour. Each bi-layer tablet suppresses your cough and treats the cause of your chest congestion by kicking out the excess mucus living rent-free inside you. And the best part? It lasts 3 times longer than 4-hour medicines, so you can get back to the things you love for longer. Buy now at your local retailer. Use as directed.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. When you apply to University of Maryland Global Campus by February 12th, you'll pay no application fee. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. Get your application fee waived through February 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
You're listening to Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti, locally here on 96.5 The Fan in Kansas City. Kickoff with Boomer Esiason and Mike Valenti is presented locally by ESPN Bet Sportsbook.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
What's up, KC? It's Hollywood Brown. Catch the play-by-play all season long with Mitch, Dana, and Clean right here on your home of Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, welcome back into the drive on 96.5 The Fan. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here. Rob Brenton is here as well, taking you up to 6 o'clock. You can catch the show on 96.5 The Fan, 965thefan.com, also the Odyssey app. You can also stream the show on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you stream videos. The show is probably there. All right, this is the analogy that I would like to make because I am imagining that a lot of us fellas have been in this situation. You have been talking to a young lady or whomever you were talking to, and things in the beginning were going great. They were great. You were just hanging out, and it was stress-free. It was easy. You loved it. And eventually, either you were sitting there trying to watch the game, maybe you were at a dinner, maybe you're laying there right next to her, and she rolls over and she looks at you and says, "So what are we doing?" At that moment, the clock starts. All the fun that you had, it can continue, but you know exactly what she's asking you. This has been fun, but I'm ready for something a little bit more. I need more of a commitment than you have currently made. She wants some reassurances. I call this the video game theory. You have played a video game. You played it on a lower level. Maybe you're trying to learn the game. You have mastered the game at that lower level. You now have a choice. You can quit playing the game because the game has become boring and repetitive, or you can up the difficulty level and keep playing. New challenges, fun, adventure, all of those things. That's where it feels to me like the Pittsburgh Steelers are as an organization. No one is denying on whether or not Mike Tomlin is a great coach or not. That's not up for debate. That's not a question. Mike Tomlin is one of the better coaches in the National Football League. But just because he is a really good coach and could be for the Jets or the Saints or whomever doesn't necessarily mean that it is going to be the right fit for you. Mike Tomlin's career in Pittsburgh started out as well as any coach in their first job has ever started. They won 12 games in 3 of his first 5 seasons. They won the Super Bowl in his second year. They went to another Super Bowl. They were a really, really good team. They then went through a little bit of a lull. He then comes back in that middle part. That's with Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, James Harrison, all of those guys. And they have another run. It wasn't as good as the first run, but they made the playoffs for 4 consecutive years. They went to an AFC championship game. They won a handful of playoff games. The Steelers were a great franchise. And then the music stopped. The Steelers haven't won a playoff game since January of 2017. I looked it up because I was curious. Starboy by The Weeknd was the #1 song in the country the last time that the Steelers won a playoff game. Kids were doing the mannequin challenge to Black Beatles the last time that the Steelers won a playoff game. Is this what you want to be? If the goal for Pittsburgh is to be a wild card team, then they have succeeded. If you're happy with being a team that is never going to bottom out, you're going to win 7, 8 games, 9 at a minimum, that's your floor, but you don't have a relatively high ceiling, keep doing what you're doing. It seems to be working for everybody else. You're not a threat anymore. Our entire life, the Steelers have been the example, the model franchise of what you want to be for consistency, year in, year out. The Steelers are always going to be there. They've never been bad in our lifetime. The Steelers have never been what Tennessee has been, what Jacksonville has been, what Indianapolis has been. They've always been right there in the mix. Maybe not in the Super Bowl mix, but they're usually in the playoff mix. We've seen some collapses the last couple of years for this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Back in 2020, the COVID season, the Steelers got out to a 11-0 start. They were arguably the best team in the league. They faded down the stretch and lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Cleveland Browns. This past season, the Steelers are one of the better teams in the National Football League. They're winning games. Mike Tomlin, everything's going good. Russell Wilson, rejuvenated. The Steelers might actually be something, but they weren't. I heard this stat earlier today. Over the last month of the NFL, there have been 3 teams that haven't won a game. Number 1 is the Tennessee Titans. They have the number 1 overall pick. Number 2 is the Cleveland Browns. They have the number 2 overall pick. Guess who number 3 is? It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the company that you're in the final month of the season when you're supposed to be playing your best football. You're now playing football that's comparable to the Titans and the Browns. That's not great company to keep. Let me give you guys a couple of more stats about the Steelers. Andrew Filipponi looked this up. He's my brother. Pony was going through it this weekend on the timeline. In the Steelers' last 6 playoff losses, so since they beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, the Eric Fisher holding Sunday Night Football, since that game, the Steelers have played 360 minutes of playoff football. They have only had a lead for 4 minutes and 56 seconds in their last 6 playoff games combined. 4 minutes and 56 seconds. They are not close in these games. They are not competitive in these games. In fact, they have been a disaster in these postseason games. I'll give you my final stat about Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. In their last 5 postseason games, they have found themselves down 21-0, 28-0, 35-7, 28-0, and 21-0. This dates back to 2017. There are some things that are your fault if you were the head coach. Now, some front office moves, some acquisitions, those can be general manager, front office decisions. Effort, energy, execution, those are coaching things. And what I've seen from the Steelers for the last month or so is a team that looks like they have given up on himself. Your quarterback is not executing. Your star wide receiver doesn't seem to be on the same page as anybody. That's not the first time that that's been the case. I saw a team that came out for a playoff game and looked largely uninspired. I saw a team for a playoff game look like they were ready for their season to be over and played like it for the first 25 minutes or so. They were down 21-0 at the half. The season's over. It's 1-2-3 Cancun. It's time to start making plans. It's time to start figuring out what you're going to do with your Sunday because you're going to be free. Are the Steelers fine with just settling? Because it feels like that's what they're in. They're happy just having a comfortable relationship. There's no thrills. There's no excitement. There's none of that. It's just comfortable. I got a steady paycheck. She's got a steady paycheck. I mean, it could be better, but it's not bad. It's not the worst that it can be. And I agree for the most part. It's not as bad as it could be for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It could definitely be worse than what it currently is. But is that living? Is that being an NFL team? You have no chance of beating Kansas City, no chance of beating Buffalo, no chance of beating Baltimore. You've been passed up by Houston. I don't care if you made the playoffs. You are a middle-of-the-road average football team, and you've been that now for the last 8 seasons. That's fun. That's exciting. So I don't know what the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do. Maybe the Steelers don't care about that. They don't want to be bad. They don't want to be Indianapolis. They don't want to be Tennessee, and they are fine just being a wild card team that could maybe win one game and has no chance of competing at the higher level. But that's not the Steelers that you and I grew up with. The Steelers that you and I grew up with set the standard, set the tone. They were one of the marquee franchises in the league, a blueprint of stability. That's not what they are anymore. If I was the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'd trade Mike Tomlin. It's time. It just doesn't work anymore. It's over. For what you want to be as an organization, it does not work anymore. And it's time to go in a completely different direction. That's not an indictment on who Mike Tomlin is as a coach. He is a phenomenal head coach. He's just not a great coach for you anymore. Maybe he's a great coach for another team. That's not your problem. It's about how do you put yourself in a position where you can catch up to those top 4 teams in the AFC, because those 4 teams are unchanged from a season ago. Kansas City's not getting any worse at quarterback. Neither is Buffalo. Neither is Baltimore. Houston's not getting any worse. If anything, Houston is kind of fortunate to be here because of all the injuries that they've taken over the last 3-4 weeks or so. That used to be Pittsburgh. You used to be in this conversation, Rob. You used to be in the mix. That is no longer the case for Pittsburgh.
Your relationship analogy is really good about how they're comfortable, but there's no spark, there's no sizzle, there's no excitement anymore. But I would argue for NFL teams, this is where the relationship analogy ends, that's the hardest spot to make the most difficult decisions. How many times do we see this across the league? And then eventually the coach just stops being good enough, and that's when they get fired. But, I mean, you as a GM or an owner have to make the decision that we are not okay with 10-7 anymore and risk that could be gone forever. Because we all know in the NFL, it stands for not for long. And if you fire Mike Tomlin and you hire the wrong guy, you could easily turn to the Patriots. You could easily bottom out. You could easily be absolutely terrible. And nothing is more terrifying for owners than being just miserable. Look at how this happened with the Chiefs and Carl Peterson for years and years and years. He was good enough, but never great. I know GM and coach are different, but it was time for a change. And yeah, the Chiefs bottomed out, but they had to reascend, and that moment scares owners.
I agree, but this is where I think you and I maybe we agree, disagree. I don't want to assume how you feel. I don't think it's that hard to get to where the Steelers are. Half the league is where the Steelers are. 14 of 32 teams make the postseason. It's not that hard to get back to a playoff level. The hard part is, how do you go from being a 9-10 win team to a 11-12, 13 win team? Those are the teams that can win the Super Bowl. 10-win teams are not winning the Super Bowl. That's not where they are. So where they are right now, sure, maybe you go through a little bit of a down period, but what are you doing here? You can get back to being a team that doesn't win their division and a team that doesn't win playoff games. And that's who you've been for the last 8 years. At some point, maybe you got to be the Colts to eventually be Buffalo. Maybe at some point you eventually got to be the Jets to eventually be Baltimore or Kansas City. But the path that you're currently on right now, it's just safe. You're going to win 9 games. Sure, we're going to pat you on the back. I think there are 3 things that we overvalue. We overvalue what it means to make the NCAA tournament. Out of the Power 5 schools, what, Rob? 35 of them make it? It's not that hard to be a 8-10 Big 12 team that makes the NCAA tournament and is 11 seed. It's not that hard to be a bowl team, to finish 6-6. There's 47 bowl games out there. Just don't be terrible and you'll make a bowl game. Almost half the NFL makes the postseason. Is your goal to make the postseason, or is your goal to win the Super Bowl? Because the Steelers are not close on the path of what it takes to actually win the Super Bowl. We can take you guys' phone calls coming up on the other side, 913-586-7965. We'll read your text on this. I think it's time for the Steelers to move on from Mike Tomlin. It's over. You have had a great run, a phenomenal run. Mike Tomlin should be in your Ring of Honor or whatever they have in Pittsburgh. But if the goal is to win championships, I don't think that Mike Tomlin can take you there in 2025. And ultimately, that's what we're doing this for. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
Hey, it's Carrington here, and let me tell you about my new obsession, Daisy French Onion Dip. I love football season. I love snack season. So when you're eating chips, wings, or veggies, and you're looking for that perfect complement, Look no further than Daisy French onion dip. And now they have a ranch dip. And I'm telling you, this is a game changer. These are as good as homemade dips with real herbs and spices and ingredients that you'd find in your own kitchen. So go try the Daisy French onion dip today. Trust me, you'll love it. You can find it at a grocery store near you.
Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? You bet we are. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple, like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 965. That's code 965 for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over, Kansas only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
It's playoffs time, KC. Rally House has the Chiefs gear you're looking for, including Chiefs official postseason gear and the latest styles fit for the kingdom.
Kansas, Missouri, Kansas State, Chiefs and Royals make KC great. Rally House, Rally House. It's your city, it's your house, it's the Rally House.
Gear up in-store and online at rallyhouse.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with autopay and any voice line. Plus, Price Lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Guarantees regular monthly rate plan price of fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15 bill credit with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without autopay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. Speeds vary due to factors affecting cellular networks.
Welcome to Staples.
I am so pumped. My business is going to kill it this year.
Awesome. How can I help?
First, a new computer.
With Staples Home and Office Hot Deals, you save big on tech.
And new posters.
Save on custom printing, too.
And,
a new chair?
A chair? Who has time to sit?
Maybe all your new clients?
Now you're talking.
With Staples Home and Office Hot Deals, you'll find huge savings on custom prints, storage, chairs, and tech. And now save up to $175 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends 2/1.
Okay, so that's with bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, ketchup, and hold the pickles.
You know what you like. You wouldn't order your burger just any way. Why should your sports talk be any different? With Chapters on the free Odyssey app, you can choose the topics that matter to you most. Whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news, quickly find what you really care about. Your football talk, your way. Download the free Odyssey app and start listening today.
Kansas Lottery Play-On app. Scan your tickets for more chances to win.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by the Missouri Air National Guard. Serve your community your way. Serve your country and build a brighter future with the Missouri Air National Guard. Top-notch training, tuition assistance, and bonuses up to $50,000. Missouri Air National Guard St. Joseph. Aim high. Find your path today. Go to ang.com/MO.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Stalled car stopping that traffic southbound lanes of 470 right at 40 Highway. And another stalled car, seeing some brake lights around this one, westbound 70 to northbound 435. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, I'm Lori Pierce at 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Chiefs fans, it's Trent McDuffie. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Right now, we're talking about Mike Tomlin. If I was the Steelers, I would move on from him. Let me tell you guys that the show is brought to you by Golden Oak Lending, where homeowners can get cash in as little as 14 days. All you need to do is visit goldenoaklending.com to learn more. So a couple of people that have texted in. C-Dot, if the Steelers have a quarterback problem, they don't have a coach problem. This is exactly where the Chiefs were with Alex Smith. If they want to be bold, they need to take a leap and go get a quarterback and not dump the coach. I don't disagree with you. This would be my question. How many chances does Mike Tomlin need to get to go find the quarterback? Didn't they draft a quarterback in round one? It didn't work. They drafted a quarterback, right? Kenny Pickett. That didn't work out. All right, cool. All right, hey, we're going to let you then keep deciding what you want to do with quarterback. They then went out and got Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. How many failed opportunities does Mike Tomlin need to go find his quarterback? Especially when you've had the job since 2007. Rob, you were in high school when Mike Tomlin started. You graduated college and you're married in your 30s now. How long do you get to be the head coach? All right, cool. We've gone through some rocky times. All right, that's fine. I'm not saying you need to fire him instantly. Coming off a playoff appearance in 2017, they then missed the playoffs for back-to-back seasons. All right, they've now made the playoffs in 4 of the last 5 years. They haven't won any of those games. They started the year 11-0. They ended the year 12-4 and lost in the first round against Cleveland. There have been 28 different head coaches that have won a playoff game since Mike Tomlin has last won one. To put this in a better perspective, Doug Peterson was the offensive coordinator when Mike Tomlin started this streak. He took over as the Eagles coach. He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, got fired with the Eagles, got hired with the Jacksonville Jaguars, won a playoff game with Jacksonville, and then got fired with Jacksonville, all in the time frame since Mike Tomlin has last won a postseason game. It's not what are you walking away from if you were the Steelers? You have won the division one time in the last 10 years. You haven't won a playoff game since Obama's second term. What are we doing here? That's my question. It feels like settling to me. I'm fine with letting Mike Tomlin pick his quarterback. You picked Kenny Pickett. It didn't work. You picked Russell Wilson. It didn't work. You had Mitch Trubisky. It didn't work. You've tried 4 different quarterback plans over the last 7 years. None of those plans have worked. How many chances, Rob, do you get to try to figure out the quarterback position if you failed now for 6 consecutive years?
And it really doesn't matter who the quarterback is. They seem to be failing the same way every season. How many times has it been October? It's been around Halloween. And we're talking about, well, the Steelers are a team to watch out for. That COVID year you mentioned, they were undefeated. This year, there was a time where like, are they part of the race for the 1 seed? Because they were lingering around. Even with Ben Roethlisberger's corpse at quarterback, there was a couple of years you felt like, oh, they're still competitive. Kenny Pickett had that team competitive. They eventually went to a playoff game with Kenny Pickett. Like, it seems like Halloween happens, and we all say, look at the Steelers. They're doing something over there. And then we have our Thanksgiving turkey, we unwrap our gifts, and we realize they're 10-7, and they're a nothing team every single season. So whether it's Kenny Pickett, Ben Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, if I know how the story every season plays out with the Steelers, that can't be on the quarterback every single time. That eventually falls on the coaching staff. A coaching staff that, mind you, continues to surround these quarterbacks that are average with bad offensive coordinators. Arthur Smith was a joke of a head coach in Atlanta. He literally wouldn't give the ball to Bijan Robinson in the red zone. It was like comical about how much he never gave the ball to Bijan Robinson. He's now the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh. Like, that was your hire to change the offense and be different? Last year, they were flying planes over the stadium and said, fire Matt Canada. That's the guy you bring in? It feels like a change is needed because, and as the text line says, it's a great analogy, it feels like Mike Tomlin is Marty Schottenheimer of the Chiefs. He has the Super Bowl, so it's different. But we know the story every single season, and we know how it ends. You have to be able to make a change. And maybe that's Tomlin. Maybe that's taking power away from Tomlin. Maybe that's, I don't know what it is. But 10-7 and losing in the wild card weekend and getting boat raced in wild card weekend is not what Steelers fans have come to expect for a franchise that has what? The most Super Bowls of any team? Goodness gracious.
And we can move on from this, but just the Super Bowl that you won in 2009 ain't keeping me warm anymore. If the Royals can eventually move on from Dayton Moore, if the Patriots can eventually move on from Tom Brady, I don't know why the Steelers are so beholden to, it is a what have you done for me lately kind of league. What have you done for me lately kind of profession and business? And if you have made the playoffs in 4 of the last 5 years, you haven't won any of those games, you haven't been competitive in any of those games, what are we doing this for? Are we doing this to make the wild card, or are we doing this to try to win the Super Bowl? Last thing on this, and I do want to get back to the AFC West and the 2 teams that lost in the postseason this weekend. Here's George Pickens. He was asked about his future in Pittsburgh. He was not very optimistic.
With this offense now for 3 years, have you seen signs of growth, and how much more does this team still need to grow offensively?
Yeah, I've seen signs of growth for sure. From past, the first year I've been here, just way more growth for sure.
Does that make you optimistic going forward?
Nah.
That was George Pickens talking about his feelings toward the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he is not optimistic about the future. First thing they need to do before anything is George Pickens cannot be on the team anymore. Whatever you're trying to build, you are not building it with George Pickens around. He has been a disaster from an attitude perspective this year. No one is doubting if the kid can play or not. He is just not the kind of energy that I think you need in the locker room if you're trying to get this thing back on track. All right, I got a toss-up question to ask you guys. 913-586-7965. I would say right now that the Broncos and the Chargers feel like they are in very similar places. Maybe you think the Chargers are better. Maybe somebody else thinks the Broncos are better. They are 2 teams in the same division that do not really seem to have a chance of actually winning the division, and they are 2 teams that lost in the exact same round of the postseason and were not really competitive in their game. They feel like they are 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. Rob, if I give you the ability to pick one of these franchises for the next 5 years to move forward with, I'm going to make you the general manager of either the Broncos or the Los Angeles Chargers. And you can have a major part in determining the future for those 2 organizations. Which one would you pick? Would you pick Denver or would you pick the Los Angeles Chargers?
I'd pick Los Angeles. I still think Justin Herbert's better than Bo Nix, which is a great starting point. Maybe Justin Herbert isn't that guy. Maybe Justin Herbert isn't Patrick Mahomes. Maybe he's not Josh Allen. He might not be one of those dudes, and that's fine. I think he's better than Bo Nix, so I get a better quarterback. I think Jim Harbaugh's a better head coach than Sean Payton. Maybe that's 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other, but I feel like Jim Harbaugh's a better coach than Sean Payton. So right off the jump, I get the better quarterback and the better coach. I also think when it comes to roster development and things of those nature, it's important to remember the Chargers were supposed to be take a step back to take a step forward this season. It was supposed to be this is the year we eat it and we pay the tab on all those bad contracts we signed. We got to deal with the fact that we're paying Khalil Mack a boatload of money to be average. We're paying Joey Bosa a boatload of money. We made a bad investment with J.C. Jackson. We made a bad investment with Mike Williams. They were paying the tab on those mistakes from a previous regime this season. The plan was take it in the teeth this year and then really hit the ground running in 2025. Well, their take a step back year, they were in the playoffs. So I get Herbert, Harbaugh, and cap space. I think I would take the Chargers going forward. I think it's, like you said, 6 in one hand, half dozen the other. But if you made me pick, I would take Los Angeles over Denver.
Have you ever been in a restaurant and you tried the food and the food wasn't bad, it just was missing something? Maybe a little spice, a little salt, a little pepper. You can't really explain it, but it was missing something. That's kind of what I feel like Justin Herbert is. Justin Herbert is a steak that just, you can't explain it. There's something missing. Everything is there with Herbert. But you and I watched the same game. C.J. Stroud, you can see it with him. I don't want to hear this, oh, well, the weapons, he only has Ladd McConkey. Who does C.J. Stroud have right now? Because Tank Dell is injured. Stephon Diggs is injured. He's got Nico Collins. He's got Joe Mixon and himself. And I saw him dominate a team. His team was turning the ball over left and right. They were -4 in the turnover differential. And I saw C.J. Stroud make play after play after play. And he was a reason why his team won. I've never felt like that with Justin Herbert. You and I have watched Herbert now for 5 years, 6 years in the league? Is there a play that you think of with Herbert? Is there a moment? Is there a memory? Is there a drive? You and I like to throw out the question. It is first and 10 from the 25-yard line. Your team is down 4. And you got to trust that your quarterback can get your team down the field and score a touchdown. Are you confident that Herbert can do that? Are you trusting right now for a guy that just last week on this show was called an elite quarterback? Not from me, not from you, but a guy who has seen him play every single day. Are you confident that he can get you down the field? I just feel like what we've seen with Justin Herbert is just empty calories. That's what it is. It's empty calories. He has not done anything meaningful. He has not done anything lasting. He has not done anything that we remember in the National Football League. He just puts up these stats and numbers, and they look pretty. And now when it's time for you to showcase that, when you got a road playoff game against Trevor Lawrence and your team gets up big, hey, some of why you lost is on you. You were a 3-point favorite in that game. Rob, you and I came into it. You got the better coach, the better quarterback, the better defense. You got better weapons. This is the game that you should go out there and win. And Herbert plays his worst game of the season. I think Bo Nix has some of that. I would say the thing that I was most wrong on with Bo Nix is I just thought he had a high floor. I didn't think he had a relatively high ceiling. I just thought he had a high floor. I didn't think Bo Nix was going to be a bust. I just didn't think there was really much chance of him being one of the better quarterbacks in the league. If I'm the Broncos, I feel very encouraged about what happened this season. Sure, we made the playoffs this year and we didn't go very far. But more than anything, we have been trying to figure out that position. And we've tried a lot of different ways over the last 5-6 years or so. We tried a big trade with Russell Wilson. We tried this draft pick. We tried this. The Broncos have been taking chances at quarterback. It finally feels like they hit with one. So go out this offseason, invest in wide receiver, try to get your running game shored up because they were very one-dimensional in the game against Buffalo. You got a top defense with one of the top defensive players. You got a good head coach. I would feel very optimistic today if I'm a Broncos fan about what the future looks like. I would take Denver if I got to pick both of these teams long term. I think that Bo Nix, he seems like he has something special, and put in the right situation, I think he can make something happen. I lost a lot of hope, a lot of faith, a lot of confidence in Justin Herbert this weekend with what I saw. He had the worst performance of any quarterback this weekend, and we shouldn't be saying that about a guy who is in the prime of his career, who just got paid big-time money, who we think is a top 10 talent in the league. There's no reason why a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix played better than you this weekend and a rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels. I'm just not sure if Herbert's special.
Let me ask you something. Let me rephrase that. Here's the thing about Bo Nix, and I'm not a super Bo-liever. I still think he's just a high-floor guy, and I think Sean Payton can maximize that floor because Sean Payton's also a good NFL head coach. Man, I will continue to say it. His age does scare me a little bit. You know that Bo Nix is 24 and Justin Herbert's 26? Think about that. Justin Herbert was drafted in 2020. He was part of Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's draft class. They were doing it virtual, and Roger Goodell was trying to say Tua Tagovailoa's name and couldn't do it. He, in that same draft, drafted Justin Herbert. It was April or May of 2020. And Justin Herbert today is 26 years old. Bo Nix today, both of them are cleaning out their lockers into the season. Bo Nix is 24. So I understand why people think there's more with Bo Nix. He's only been a starter for 1 year in the league. I get it. But I feel like some of this, we know what Justin Herbert is a little bit unfair for a 26-year-old. I think Jim Harbaugh can find that next level. I think Jim Harbaugh can find another level to him. Now, I don't think that level ever is going to be the Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes level. I don't think he's ever living up to what the standard was, which is that. But there's no reason why Justin Herbert can't be a Jared Goff, which is a good
I feel
quarterback.
like we've been saying
surrounded-
that for 4 years now, that he can be this guy and he can be this guy. The reason I disagree with you on Justin Herbert is, at this stage in his career, if he was that guy, wouldn't we know by now? I mean, at this point, Jared Goff took a team to a Super Bowl. He took the Rams to a Super Bowl. Mahomes had emerged by 26. Lamar, Josh Allen, like, who's the quarterback that at this stage in their career, and as we are entering year 6, you didn't know? You and I already know about Joe Burrow. You and I already know about these certain guys. We can't be having the same conversations entering year 6 with Herbert that we were having entering year 2 with Herbert. I feel like we are in the exact same place. I'm reading the text line, CDOT, are you doing this because you feel betrayed by the Chargers? No, maybe to put a player comparison on it, I think Bo Nix can be Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield has proven that he's pretty capable. Now, are you going to give him a Mike Evans, a legitimate number 1 wide receiver type? That's not what Courtland Sutton is. He's fine, but he's not one of the better receivers in the league. I think there is a chance that the Broncos have Baker Mayfield on their team. All right, well, now that you have Baker Mayfield, who I think has proven that he's more than a capable NFL quarterback, it's now about how you do the other things. I don't really know what Justin Herbert is. He's, I would say, too talented to be near the bottom group of quarterbacks in the NFL. He's far too talented to be in that group, but he's also nowhere near the guys whose class and his talent say that he should be in the conversation. He should be in the conversation with the Mahomes, the Allens, the Burrows, the Lamar Jackson. All of the talent is there, but just there is none of the things that make those guys special. They don't appear to be in Justin Herbert, not in my mind. I've seen Josh Allen do special things and have a team that doesn't have the coach, doesn't have the weapons, doesn't have any of those things. I've seen Josh Allen do special things. I don't think I've seen Herbert do anything special.
If you have Bo Nix in the Baker Mayfield category, wouldn't that be the definition of someone who's not going to be anything special either, though? Like, isn't that just a guy who needs everything to break right and then things can go a certain way until he hits a ceiling? Like, if you're telling me you're taking the Broncos and Bo Nix over Justin Herbert because you think Bo Nix can be Baker Mayfield, yeah, Baker Mayfield's a great story. And Baker Mayfield's revitalization into good quarterback in the league is a very nice story. But he's a guy with a ceiling. He's a guy who is, you know what he is? Perfect for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's wild card or bust. Herbert has the physicality and the intangibles and tools to be more. And you know what? Maybe it's going to come off like apologetic to Herbert. Fine. Whatever. Why can't Justin Herbert be what Alex Smith was? Alex Smith was broken in San Francisco. Remember, he had, 4 offensive coordinators in 4 years? Enter Jim Harbaugh, and he got the best out of him. And then he hit another level when Andy Reid got a hold of him. And yeah, that level was not the best quarterback in the league. He was never Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. But why can't Justin Herbert be that? He had, Anthony Lynn as his head coach. He had Brandon Staley as his head coach. They weren't surrounding him and bathing him in glory with offensive minds.
It's just
it
bad.
It was a revolving door.
It's just bad now if we're asking if Justin Herbert can be Alex Smith. Like, I'm just saying is you have resigned to the fact that he cannot be an elite quarterback in the league, and now the best case scenario is can he be Alex Smith? That's bad. And I'm with you that Bo Nix has a ceiling, but I would say then there's only 3 quarterbacks in the league that we don't think have that ceiling. And we have our own questions about Lamar in the postseason about how great he can be then. I think that he can be Baker Mayfield. I think he can be Jared Goff. If you're telling me that Bo Nix turns out to be Jared Goff, then great. Now you need to go get Amon-Ra St. Brown. You need to go get Jahmyr Gibbs. You got to put things around him. So, no, he's never going to be Mahomes where you can have Kareem Hunt as your running back. You can have an aging Travis Kelce. You can lose your number 1 wide receiver during the year, and your team's still going to win 15 games. I don't think that's what Bo Nix can be. Can he be a capable, playoff, successful quarterback if you give him the right tools and pieces? I do think that he can be that. I'm just not really sure what environment you could put Herbert in to see him take that next step. And for a quarterback that you and I think just has all of the talent and should be in this level, should be in this conversation, I'm just not really sure that that's where he is. I do have another AFC West thoughts. We were just talking about the Broncos and the Chargers. Let me just go ahead and get all my AFC West thoughts out in this segment. You know what I think the Raiders should hire? You're going to laugh at me a little bit. What if the Raiders hired Pete Carroll? Follow me here for this. I know that Pete Carroll is old, and it kind of goes against my theory about Steve Spagnuolo and his age and when you're doing things. But if you're the Raiders, what you need more than anything is stability. I would say you also need a little bit of sizzle. You kind of got to win the headlines. It's a headline kind of attention-grabbing, attention-seeking kind of city. You go into it for a 3-4 year deal, so a smaller deal. You maybe have a plan in place for a coach in waiting. Maybe you hire a nice offensive coordinator, and when this Pete Carroll thing is over, you now have a 41-year-old head coach that is ready to take over in the meantime. I don't know if you're going to get one of those marquee head coaches if you're the Las Vegas Raiders. So why not go get Pete Carroll? You know he's going to come in well-respected. He's going to establish a culture. He's done this before. He did it at USC when USC was incredibly average. He did this in Seattle, got them to a comfortable place. You then hire Pete Carroll. You bring him in for the next couple of years. You get this to a desirable job, and then you move on to the next place. He's shown he can do well with quarterbacks. Maybe you go get a quarterback. I don't think that Pete Carroll to the Raiders is the absolute worst idea. Number one, it seems like they want Ben Johnson. I was reading it, and Tom is courting Ben Johnson. Yes, if you can go get Ben Johnson, you got a home run hire, and you got the number one coaching target on my board. But if you don't get him, I don't think that finding the best available bridge coach, the same way that we talk about with quarterback, I don't know if that's the worst strategy for them, and I think that person is Pete Carroll. We'll get you guys reactions to that coming up on the other side, 913-586-7965. Coming up in about 20 minutes, our guy Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs, is going to join us in studio. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Team, I'll be real with you. Time isn't on our side. The Super Bowl is only getting closer. So I'm asking you all, what's it gonna be? Are you gonna do the same old? Or are you gonna step it up this year? Who's going to the Verizon Super Bowl Fan Fest right here in Kansas City? Are you going to join us for a Super Bowl experience like no other? Catch the game while hanging out with the league's most legendary players. Enjoy live music. Crush game day bites. The Super Bowl only comes once a year. Verizon Super Bowl Fan Fest. You in?
It's all going down at Kansas City Live in the Power and Light District. Tickets are limited. Don't miss out. Visit your local Verizon store and find out about free tickets today. Must be 18 years or older or accompanied by parent or legal guardian to attend. Terms apply. See VerizonFanFest.com for details.
Hey, Missouri sports fans, I've got great news for you. Underdog is available to play in your state. Underdog is the best place to cash in on all of your takes during the playoffs. Which players are going to go off and which ones are going to stay ice cold. And with over 5 million happy players and 2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in on all of your favorite athlete performances. Underdog is the only champs platform that puts the power to cash out in your hands. Now you can either keep riding with your entry or tap the Win Now button to cash out whenever you want. And every dog deserves a second chance. And with Underdog Rescues, you can get your money back and receive a promo code if an early injury causes your entry to lose. Underdog is the best place to play champs. Download the app, sign up with promo code BOB, and deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code BOB. Must be 18 and over and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Your skin tells a story. At KMC Dermatology and Med Spa, we understand that stress, time, and life can leave their mark, but it's never too late to refresh, renew, and restore your skin. With 25 expert providers across multiple locations, we make glowing skin easy. Same week appointments? Absolutely. Select Saturday appointments available? You got it. From medical dermatology to advanced aesthetic treatments, we're here to help you look and feel your best. Schedule your appointment today at kmcpa.com. KMC Dermatology and Med Spa, beyond the surface.
If you're hearing this, you're in Chiefs Kingdom, the land of champions. And what do champions do? They win. Play the world champions Kansas City Chiefs instant ticket from the Kansas Lottery for a chance to win up to $75,000. Or enter your tickets into the Play On app for a chance to win one-of-a-kind Chiefs experiences. Because the only thing better than winning is winning again. See kslottery.com for details.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50.
Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
One stalled car blocking traffic in North Kansas City, 169 highway, southbound lanes at Briarcliff Parkway, and we are seeing some brake lights eastbound 70 out of that 435 exchange. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 96.5 The Fan.
Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll be joined by Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Rob is here. Carrington is here. You're listening on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com. You can also stream the show on YouTube, Twitch, and on Twitter. All right. Rob, I've been so excited to talk about this. I wrote it down. I wrote this down on like Saturday afternoon and just couldn't wait to talk to you about this. Have you taken a look at the teams that are still alive in the NFL playoffs and what they have in common? Now, you might be thinking quarterback. Okay, well, that's one thing that they have in common. Well, did you know that running back is maybe a little bit more important than you've given it credit? Do you know who led the Chiefs this year in yards from scrimmage? On a team that has Travis Kelce, on a team that picked up DeAndre Hopkins, on a team that had Xavier Worthy. Do you know who led the Chiefs in yards from scrimmage this year?
I'm going to guess it's Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
The Texans, they went out this offseason. Who they pick up? Joe Mixon.
And Stephon Diggs.
Who didn't really play. The Bills, they spent the second-round pick. They got James Cook. The Ravens, they went out. They got a future Hall of Fame running back in Derrick Henry. Look at the NFC. The Lions spent the top 15 pick on Jahmyr Gibbs. You laughed at the Lions and their biggest game of the season. Who scored 3 touchdowns this year for the Detroit Lions? Maybe it was 3-4. Who can remember? He lived in the end zone. He had a residency in the end zone. He was in the end zone longer than Usher was in Vegas. It was Jahmyr Gibbs. The Commanders, they went out. They paid Austin Eckler. The Eagles got Saquon Barkley, depending on who wins today. The Vikings, they went out and got Aaron Jones. Kyron Williams is one of the better young running backs in the league. I've heard you tell me for the longest that running back doesn't matter. And I'm sitting here looking, and I'm seeing the resources that are spent on these running backs. I mean, Aaron Jones got a nice little free agent deal. Saquon got a nice free agent deal. Austin Eckler, Jahmyr Gibbs, top 15 pick, Derrick Henry. Are we seeing the return of the back? Not the return of the Mac. I'm saying the return of the back. Look at the NFL right now. Teams are getting back to running the football. Is it not enjoyable? You don't see the balance that's happening right now in the league? You're not excited about this right now? You don't see? Rob, go ahead and admit you were wrong, that the league could be changing a little bit. No one says you don't have to invest in your quarterback. But maybe, just maybe, gone are the days where this offseason, Gabe Davis and Josh Jacobs were both available. I know Josh Jacobs' team lost, but not because of Josh Jacobs. He actually played pretty well in the game. Gabe Davis got paid more money this offseason than Josh Jacobs did. Gabe Davis. No. Running back matters. I'm not saying you got to go out and you got to give your running back $30 million, but the teams that went out and invested this offseason in the position and saw the returns, they also have seen the result of it in the postseason. The Ravens, the Bills, the Lions, the Commanders, teams that valued this position and were willing to go out and spend a little bit of money on a back that can run the football 200 times, catch the ball out of the backfield, do some of the little things, do the dirty work. They have been rewarded this season. We could be seeing a turn. We could be seeing a shift about running back.
As always, no, we're not. This is correlation and not causation. Do you know what every team that you just laid out also has right now? Great offensive line play. Lane Johnson for the Eagles, for example, should have been a first-team All-Pro. He really should have been. He wasn't. I know we're not going to get into an argument about first-team All-Pro at right tackle, but he should have been. They also have one of the best offensive lines in the country. Not surprising that they have a running back who can run well behind it. The Lions. What have the Lions consistently invested in? Winning in the trenches. They had David Montgomery. They had Jamal Williams. They had Jahmyr Gibbs. They've had a cavalcade of backs be successful. Is that because they have great running backs come through and they pay a premium for them? Or is it because they have great offensive line with Penei Sewell, who is a first-team All-Pro? Or let's just keep going on the line. There is O-line play is making running backs better, not vice versa. So you know what? You're right. The running backs have been more successful, but it's not because of the rebirth or return of the back. It's because the teams that invest heavy in offensive line and want to maul you at the line of scrimmage are doing that right now. The Chiefs are not one of those teams. They're not a maul you at the line of scrimmage type of team. They're a dink and dunk West Coast offense type of team. So it's not surprising that their screen back is their best yards from scrimmage guy. I would also tell you, most every team in the league has their running back be their highest yard from scrimmage guy. It's a little bit of fun with numbers by you.
I don't know if that's accurate.
Wide receiver doesn't usually get a chance to run and catch, where running back gets to do both. I bet if you look up top yards from scrimmage, more likely than not, most all of them are running back because there are multiple ways for them to acquire yards. So it's a little bit of fun with numbers by you over there. But no, I'm not believing this is some rebirth of how great running back is. This is a testament to good team building by building good offensive lines in front of those people.
Okay, I mean, I don't want to spend a lot of time. I mean, I just saw Minnesota do it, and Aaron Jones certainly doesn't lead them from yards per scrimmage. We could certainly find examples to prove other side. I don't want to get bogged down in the minutia of that argument. I think we're seeing the rebirth of the running back. Again, my point is not that your running back should be your highest paid offensive player. But what I think we've seen is teams now overvalue their third wide receiver than their running back, and that doesn't make sense to me. Why teams are so willing to go out and pay Darnell Mooney when you've invested a top 5 pick in Kyle Pitts and you've invested a top 10 pick in Drake London, why you spend more resources to go get Darnell Mooney than go get a quality back doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me how we know the impact that Saquon Barkley can have on a team, and a team had a choice between getting Saquon Barkley and Gabe Davis, and they chose to go get Gabe Davis. That doesn't add up to me. Not when you see the teams that can't run the football, and some of that is certainly tied to the offensive lines. But if you're Denver, You have no chance of taking that next step if your team can't learn how to run the football. And that was one of Denver's biggest problems this year.
Probably real quick, I don't want to interrupt. I did look it up for fun. Of the top 10 yards from scrimmage people in the NFL this year, 8 were running backs. And more fun with numbers.
Bad teams.
And let's have more fun with it. You said Aaron Jones. I know for a fact he doesn't lead his team in yards from scrimmage. Do you know what he does? Lead his team in yards from scrimmage. He has more total yards this year than Justin Jefferson.
I'm wrong.
The only 2 wideouts that are in the top 10 are Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. It's a little bit of fun with numbers over there to pick that stat. It'd be like me being like, hey, who had more catches this year, the running back or the tight end? See? You picked a little bit of a fun with numbers stat.
Well, I would say on most of those good teams, to be fair, on most of the good teams, their best offensive skill position player this year was their running back.
By the way, I go to the top 20.
Really quick. For Baltimore, their best player was a running back. I'm sorry. I just saw them dominate a team, and they didn't have Zay Flowers. You didn't even notice Zay Flowers wasn't there because they had Derrick Henry there. On the Philadelphia Eagles, A.J. Brown is incredible. Devontae Smith is good. Their best offensive player is Saquon Barkley. So on some of these teams where these guys are leading their teams in stats, it's not by coincidence. It's we have the best offensive player in the league in Saquon Barkley. We need to make it a point to try to get him the football.
I'm just saying, of the top 20, 3 are wide receivers. The top 25, 5 are wide receivers. Running back, this is a running back dominated stat. So I'm not disagreeing with your point.
That's because this year, back lives matter. That's why. That's why. Return of the back. You're not believing in return of the back. And back lives matter. I'm here to tell you that they matter. Christian McCaffrey, come back. That's what we need you to do. Come back to the league, Christian. We missed you this year. You notice Christian McCaffrey got hurt. The 49ers fell apart. When they had Christian McCaffrey, they were comparable to the Kansas City Chiefs. They lost them, and they were the 17th best team in the league. Running backs matter. Coming up on the other side, the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus is going to join us in studio. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5. The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
One stalled car blocking traffic in North Kansas City, 169 highway, southbound lanes at Briarcliff Parkway, and we are seeing some brake lights eastbound 70 out of that 435 exchange. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Hey guys, it's Cody and Alex to let you know that if you're looking for that new career, Centric is the place you want to go. Look, you've been sitting around in a job you don't like anymore, and you want to try something new. I get it. Who wouldn't want a job with better pay, better career advancement, and better opportunities?
So if you've been thinking of a new career, the new year is a great time to start. Classes start in the middle of January at Centric. Contact our friend Russ. Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
Hey, Chiefs Kingdom, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig, an absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly.
Hey, it's Gold, and I've been telling you guys about my friends at Max Motors, and there's not a better time to go say hello to my friends down there than right now. We just got done with this winter storm, and if you have a 4x4 vehicle, you know how much easier it was to navigate the last couple of days, and if you don't, you're probably thinking, what would that be like? Well, at Max Motors, they have every new 2024 Ram 1500 in stock right now, 25% off MSRP. They have 4x4 options available in that 2024 Ram 1500. And here's where Max Motors is different. And they showed me this when I was out there as well. And that is explaining the total cost of ownership, not just what that monthly payment is going to be. So if you've been thinking about a brand new vehicle, there is no better place to go than Max Motors. And they're going to take care of you with the best financing options available and give you the max trade-in values in the Midwest. So take advantage of every new 2024 Ram 1500 in stock. That's 25% off MSRP. Must finance with dealer lender. Offer expires 2/3/25. Max Motors, the easiest place to buy a car, maxmotors.com.
Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer? You want the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. That's KCPI, the Kansas City Proton Institute. KCPI has a full suite of the most advanced imaging and treatment technology necessary to localize high-intensity proton beams. That's a critical part of maximizing cure rates while minimizing recovery time and long-term side effects. Proton therapy provides patients with the most advanced form of radiation treatments for cancer. It destroys cancer cells with supreme accuracy, reducing the risk of harmful side effects. KCPI has Kansas City's first and only system that uses pencil beam technology, resulting in precision targeting and less radiation to your surrounding healthy tissue. Proton therapy is now available in the comfort of an office at KCPI, making it more efficient and affordable than a hospital. So contact KCPI for the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. Don't wait. Get precision technology with the highest safety measures with KCPI. Online at kcpi.com.
It's cold outside, and the cupboard is bare. No worries. Let Hy-Vee do the shopping with Aisles Online. It's easy. Go to Hy-Vee.com, choose your store, select your items, and schedule a convenient pickup or delivery time. Right now, get $10 off any $125 Aisles Online purchase. What could be better? We do the shopping and deliver your groceries. You stay warm and save money. Download the Aisles Online app or go to Hy-Vee.com today.
As the Chiefs go for a three-peat in the big game, Hy-Vee's making my life easier. Hy-Vee's my one-stop shop for all game day needs. From official Chiefs apparel to fan favorites, including wings, ready-to-bake pizza, and freshly prepared dips like spinach artichoke, street corn, and buffalo chicken dip. Hy-Vee has Chiefs-themed cookies and sheet cakes and cupcakes as well. Plus, don't forget the Hy-Vee Wine and Spirits department for all of your game day beverages. Elevate your home gate at Hy-Vee, the official grocery sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs.
I was coined almost Andy Reid when I was on a radio show, and it stuck with me ever since. Renter Garage Door can help you not get stuck out in the cold this winter. Book your annual maintenance or get a free replacement quote today.
RENNER, RENNER.
You can listen to the play-by-play of the Chiefs and Texans divisional round playoff game with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. As voice of Chiefs Kingdom, he's seen the lowest of lows and the highest of highs.
You can doubt the Chiefs. You can dislike the Chiefs. You can disrespect the Chiefs. You're going to have to deal with the Chiefs.
Your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Here's Mitch Holthus with CDOT on The Drive.
Mitch, I say this as an absolute compliment to you. You got a different bounce in your step this week. I could tell that those 3 games in those 11 days, I could tell they wore you down a little bit. That you needed the bye week too. But you had a bye week. You had a great New Year. You guys had your 4th preseason game. You could kind of work out some of the kinks with the Chiefs Radio Network. You got to just sit back in Wild Card Weekend, and
Sit
now
on a tarmac in a plane for 3 hours. And when the linemen start to get restless, right? That's like water buffalo. They're coming back to the back of the plane where we're at, and it's like the guys are restless. No, it was awesome, actually. And this is why I talked to you about it in October. I said it in November, mentioned it in December. To get this by is potentially enormous. But yeah, even Mitchie the Kid, because I do like 20 shows a week. Well, a lot of that was condensed. Those 3 and 11 days, and everybody wanted time off for the holidays. So immediately after the Texan game on Saturday the 21st, I just jumped right into the pool and started swimming, recording things for the next week because there was no next week. And then you had to have it all done by Monday night. After the Kingdom show Monday night, it was like grind it out because you're getting on a plane Tuesday to go to Pittsburgh. So not saying woe is me, but thanks for being perceptive because, yeah, it was the kid was wiped out.
Right now, we're joined by Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. His appearance on the show is presented by Silverstein Eye Center. Achieve your best vision and experience outstanding patient care. And also by GEHA. They're a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's just start with this. What have you been doing for the last 20-something days or so? What is it like for you when, you're so much in a routine? Every week is kind of the same. Things move around a little bit, but for the most part, what your responsibilities are. I feel like for the last 10 days, you could just kind of hang out.
Yes and no. I'm a little bit like the team has been, because what I said was this back, and I did a minute with Mitch on it during the bye week. Like, is this too early for the bye week? Well, trying to get the playoff bye was huge because the team now can basically get introspective, and you've got guys on this team that were not at training camp, right? Samaje Perine, D-Hop, we can go right down the line, Juju. But now you're trying to build up for the playoffs without the immediate urgency of tyranny the urgent. Same thing with me. So what was I doing? I was spending time like researching our own team, like pluses and minuses. I'm going to get into some of this stuff. In fact, it led to a podcast I did with Matt McMullen last week that people can find on the Chiefs app, or they can go to the Chiefs YouTube channel and find it. But what I think is that I said E squared equals question mark. And me digging in, being introspective, was this team is going to go into the playoffs, this Chiefs team, where like 286 playoff wins. And only 27 guys were on the roster. About half the roster was there in 2022 to start that year. But those 27 have been in some ways unequaled in NFL history in their early playoff experience. For example, the defensive backs. Listen to this one, Cita. You like numbers. 39-2 in the playoffs. The DBs and the two are Justin Reed's as a Houston Texan. And one of those was to the Chiefs as a Houston Texan. Let me give you another one. The linebackers are 21-3. Two of the three losses, one is a Joshua Uche loss with the Patriots. Another one is a tranquil loss with the Chargers. The offensive line is 44-6. Two of those are Joe Thuney's as a Patriot. Another one is Juwan Taylor's as a Jaguar to the Chiefs. So the first E in this discussion is the fact that you have all of this young playoff experience, and the Chiefs last year were the youngest team in the NFL to win back-to-back Super Bowls of any of the back-to-back champions. They were the youngest team. This team has just a lot of unusual playoff successful experience earlier in their career.
Do you want to get the rest versus rust argument out of the way
let's
now?
do it.
Let's just go and get it out of the way.
Let's
now,
go.
I will present the other side of it because I think I know what side you're on. Now, this does worry me a little bit, and I understand and acknowledge the differences in it. I just watched the college football playoff. For the teams that had the bye, they were at a disadvantage early in the game. In the first quarter of the game, those teams were outscored 49-10 in the first half. Now, some of them still won, but I think you follow it here. What my fear would be, my worst case scenario would be Houston, who played last week, and we've seen the Chiefs over the last 4 years. Sometimes they like to get down early. I can't explain why it happens, but they
sometimes.
Like to. But
sometimes.
This team loves to be down 10-0 after the first two possessions.
Three Super Bowls down 10.
That you get down 10-0, you get down 14-3, and the incredible timing that you had built up over the last month of games, you're just a little bit off because you've been so stagnant for the last 3 weeks or so. That would be my slight worry. Now, I would say there are a lot of positives for what happened. We can get to those, but to me, that is the argument for the rust factor heading into Sunday or Saturday's game against Houston.
We're the argument. And those are decent points, good points, and it's actually been proven throughout the NFL over time, but here's where I'm going to go different on you. Now, to your point, Patrick Mahomes will have the longest layoff in NFL history for a quarterback from his last regular season action to his first playoff game. The previous was Warren Moon in 1993, and he lost to the Chiefs that year in the game in Houston. It's the Buddy Ryan getting the shave from Keith Cash. So you've got that history. But I will tell you, since the league has gone to 17 games, and the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs, for some of this roster, has played 6 seasons in 5. Those young guys that I mentioned, think about how many playoffs games. They've played 7 playoff games added to a 17-17-17. So that's 51. That's 58 games they have played in a 3-year span. And those have been high-stress games against the hardest schedule in the National Football League. So my point to you is to use the college football playoff argument is a worthy one, but they didn't play 17 games. And none of those teams played 58 games in 3 years. This team, for it to back up mentally and emotionally, I've seen what happens to this team. If you think I'm refreshed, so is Andy Reid, so is Patrick Mahomes, so is Travis Kelce, so is Justin Reed, so is Chris Jones. And if that leads to a slow start, I don't think it will last long. I don't think this is a team that wants to get down 24-7 to this Houston team like it did in 2019. But I'm telling you, the best chance this team has for a historic three-peat, which would transcend NFL history, it would be American sport history, is the fact that they got this bye in these 23 days to get ready for this push.
I do want to ask you specifically about this team, but I've got a quick question to ask you about your career. That Houston game that you just referenced, I bet if you ask 50 broadcasters, that would probably be their number one game. You've called like 10 games that are more iconic than that throughout the course of this run. I remember this feeling like it just happened. You know, sometimes some analytic people would say that momentum doesn't exist. Well, I would say then you weren't at the wild card game with Andrew Luck. You also weren't at that divisional game against Houston. Both times I remember feeling it. You could feel was the energy in the crowd. You could just feel the emotion of everything. What is it like to be in the middle of that where you might not know it exactly at the time, but you were witnessing something really, really special that's about to happen?
And going into that moment with some PTSD from what you said about the Colts loss in 2013 or the other past losses. I just remember thinking there's this kind of feeling of shock, but I also thought, man, I've been through this, and I also know Andy Reid, and I also know that this team is different. They're just different. And I said it on the air. You can go back and find it in the archives. They just need a spark, because if you just light the firecracker, they might blow up the fireworks stand, and that's what they did. And it was McCole Hardman's 58-yard kickoff return. That just lit the fuse to a quick touchdown because that team could score quickly. Score quick, blow up the kick return, get the fumble on the kick return. Darwin Thompson, go ahead and run it in the end zone. You have to stand and wait. And then defend the fake punt. It's an avalanche. Houston panics. It's crazy.
I still can't believe they went for the fake punt. Like, I don't understand why you would be so aggressive in that moment. Then you had a 4th and goal to kind of eliminate Kansas City, and then you chose to kick the field goal. Like, you were hyper conservative, and then you're ultra aggressive. Everything felt so helter-skelter for that 20-minute stretch.
I see that since 2019, CDOT. I have seen that in Chiefs opponents. And don't take it as arrogance or hubris. They lose their mind. Based on my research of thinking in trends of what they might do at a certain point, it's like they're going off the – what's Atlanta doing not kicking field goals? They probably win that game like 13-12 or whatever by 1. They're going for 4th down in the red zone because I don't know, for whatever reason, they kind of lose their mind. I was talking to Speck about it earlier today. You know who missed the block on the fake punt?
Justin Reed?
Justin Reed. So it's like we were talking about, I know he knows every second of that play, but he also has got a couple Super Bowl rings, and he wants this one. So does D-Hop, because I did a minute with Mitch on this last week. D-Hop's played 13 years. He's never won a divisional playoff game. 2 wild card wins. That's all he's got. And so this game is gigantic for D-Hop, not just because it's his old team. The other one, it's Kareem Hunt. So that was the second, my E on the podcast that Matt and I talked about, was the experience, unusual youth with experience of winning in the playoffs. The second is this burst of energy that's coming from the outside in, meaning D-Hop. The second is Kareem Hunt, dismissed from the team before all the fun started. He didn't get to even play in the AFC Championship game in 18. He's gone. So he missed, and I've talked to him personally about it, 19, 20, 20, all the way down. He gets another chance that no one thought he would ever have. He's never won a divisional playoff game. He's won 1 wild card game. Hollywood Brown never won a divisional playoff game. He's won 1 wild card game. To those 3 guys who have been in the league 13, 8, and 6 years, this game is gigantic.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. His appearances are presented by Silverstein Eye Center, also by GEHA, proud partners of the Kansas City Chiefs. So last week, I gave 2 things that I feel really good about heading into the divisional round. Number 1 was Hollywood Brown. I don't think any of us knew exactly what it was going to look like whenever he got there. Hollywood didn't look like a player that had missed a beat. That's kind of what I expected him to be whenever he was originally signed this offseason. The second thing for me is you and I had this conversation, I think it was after the Buffalo loss, about the pass rush and the defense and why it was taking a little bit of a step back. Man, it feels like they've fixed all of those problems over the last month. There is 2 forms of this defense, pre-Charles Omenihu coming back and now having him there, and how much it's changed the secondary, how much it's opened things up for George Karlaftis. So heading into Saturday's game against Houston, I feel really good about their offense because I think this is the greatest number of weapons they've had since losing Tyreek Hill. When you look at, you got D-Hop, Hollywood, Xavier Worthy's playing really well. You got two capable tight ends. Isaiah Pacheco has some time to rest and recover. You gave that same thing to Kareem Hunt, who had a lot of carries throughout the course of the season. This is as many weapons as they've had. And defensively, you got 4 or 5 guys that are getting after the quarterback at a really high level.
Well, we know D-Hop changed the team from a standpoint of Pat. Before D-Hop had 6 touchdowns, 8 picks. And since, 20 touchdowns, 3 picks. So we know he changed the team. But Hollywood brought in that burst of adrenaline. And who really benefited from it in the review of when I've watched video and reviewed these games, Xavier Worthy. Because now Worthy not only has somebody else to run the 4x100 relay with him, he's got somebody to take the heat off, and he doesn't have to feel like, man, I've got to get some big plays here and make this third down play. D-Hop can do it. Juju can do it. We know Kels can do it in his sleep. We've seen Noah Gray raise his game up. Kareem Hunt is not going backwards. He's made a big impact on this team because you have 2nd and 6 and 2nd and 5. You don't have 2nd and 12 or 2nd and 10. That's been huge for this team. So I'm with you. I've just seen elevation of other guys. Now the protection issue is going to be paramount here. Houston decimated the Chargers yesterday. The Chargers have 3 first-round picks on that offensive line. After that play where C.J. Stroud kind of turned the game on his off-schedule big-time play, it transferred over the defense. And they stoned the run. And we can talk about Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter, and we should. They led the whole team led the league in pressures during the regular season. They were 4th in sacks. But the Danico Autry's of the world, the rest of those guys on the defensive front just destroyed the Chargers in the second half of that game. Sans the one play to Ladd McConkey. That's it. Otherwise, you're going to have to protect and work in the run game and be balanced against this team because they're really fast. Houston's super fast on the defensive front.
If you had to look inside your crystal ball, what do you think they're going to do at left tackle? Are they going to continue with Joe Thuney? Are they going to play DJ Humphries? I would go with Joe Thuney. You're going up against a pretty experienced pass rush, and this is the same offensive line that went up against them a couple of weeks ago. So you keep that same continuity, guys who have played together for the final month of the season. I would start Joe Thuney. I think that's the biggest question that we all have heading into this game.
Yeah, and that's the biggest question. You only gave up 1 sack. With Joe there in the game against Houston back on December the 21st, and that was from a linebacker on a blitz. That was in the middle. But I also know you got to be ready for both in this game too. I know that sounds crazy, but Caliendo has done such a good job. That's the other piece of this, that you may see both Humphries and both Thuney in this game at left tackle. Don't take away coach's ingenuity here, and he's got some extra time to look at this stuff. So I'm looking in the crystal ball. I'm seeing murkiness. I'm seeing like Eric Fisher, and I'm seeing Orlando Brown Jr., and I'm seeing these Donovan Smith, the left tackles that have won Super Bowls for the Chiefs. And it could be a combo. It could be comprehensive. I know I'm not skirting your question. I'm just telling you what's real, that it may not be just one or the other in this game. It could be both.
I also gave the 2 things that I'm sort of worried about heading into the postseason. Let's just start with the first thing. For the last couple of years, I haven't had any worry about Harrison Butker and a 47-yard field goal. If the Chiefs have to kick a 47-yard field goal, I feel very confident they're going to make it. I'm still pretty confident, but there is that kind of back of my mind. He's looked a little bit different since the injury, since he's come back. He missed that extra point. There was another one in the Christmas Day game after the Xavier Worthy penalty. He missed that one. He missed the kick against the Broncos. Something just feels a little bit different since Harrison Butker has come back. Danon says he's not worried about it. He was on Fesco in the morning. Where are you at with Harrison Butker heading into the postseason?
I'm not worried about it. The 51-yarder against Denver, I thought, man, this is a reach to try to kick it because the conditions, even though it wasn't snowy or the air's, even though the air's light there, it's weird to kick in December. I just don't worry about it. The guy's made so many big kicks when he's been hurt. Here again, you get time for Harrison Butker to rest up. So the fact that he has been able to not grind it out this week and ask him to make a 55-yarder in the snow to win a game is a big deal. Now you can ask him to do it this week. You didn't have to ask him to do it last week and this week. So I think even mentally and emotionally for him, as well as physically, I'm with Danon. I don't worry about it a bit.
If we were playing Family Feud last year, and it was, what Chiefs player is going to benefit most from the extra rest? Travis Kelce was the number one answer on the board, and he had a phenomenal postseason. I feel like this year that player could be Isaiah Pacheco. I'm not sure if he's been healthy at any point in the last 3 months. He had surgery for a broken fibula. He maybe came back a little sooner just because he wants to get out there, wants to play, and he hasn't really been himself, hasn't had that same birth. Him now having an ability to rehab and get 3 weeks off at this stretch in the season, I think there's a chance that we see a very different Isaiah Pacheco than we've seen since, week 2, week 3 of the season.
And I'm going to tag that with two things that I think are part of this discussion with Pop Pacheco. Is one, it goes back to that youthful, incredible playoff experience. He's part of that. He's 7-0 in the playoffs. Two, he can go in mentally realizing I don't have to touch it 25 times. The tag team that they have set up with him and Kareem Hunt and Samaje Perine has been a big reason they got the bye. Because we can look at wide receiver and we can look at a lot of different variables. But the fact that became a two-headed monster and then Pop makes it a three-headed monster, Pacheco gives them the explosive run capability. He can pop a 40-yard run. With Kareem Hunt, I've told you, 2nd and 4 is a norm. Perine, we've seen him do unusual things, not just on 3rd down, but when you lie flat on your back and Mahomes throws you the ball and you still catch it. And the fact that he also has playoff experience, positive playoff experience, is a big factor that Pacheco doesn't have to feel like mentally, man, I got to do this or it's not going to get done. He knows he's got help. Those three are working together, and those three carry a big ball bat into this deal.
I know you won't pat yourself on the back, so I'll do it. You have been very, very consistent about Justin Herbert over the last 4 years, and you haven't really been caught up in some of the numbers that Herbert has, and he has put up some big numbers. He's thrown for 5,000 yards, 40 touchdowns. He has done a lot of those things. You've talked about it a little bit with C.J. Stroud, his ability to make off-script plays, and there's just something a little bit different with C.J. Stroud. He has it. You maybe can't quantify what it is, but I saw it at Ohio State, and I've seen it his first couple of years in Houston. Whatever that is that we can't explain, I don't know if Justin Herbert has it. You are too advanced in your career to let your team lose the way that they just lost on Saturday. You were not close for the last 25 minutes of the game. You threw 3 interceptions with 500 passes. You threw 4 interceptions with 30 passes on Saturday. I'm officially out on Justin Herbert.
41-40 in 5 years. 41-40. That translates to 9-8 or 8-9. And no playoff wins in 5 years. Look at what Patrick did. Take 18, his first year as a starter. That's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Take Patrick from 18 to 22. That's your apples-to-apples comparison. What Pat did in those 5 seasons, what Herbert has done. Talented player, but he's 41-40, 0-2 in the playoffs. Now, let's go to Stroud. We know there's Patrick, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, obvious. I don't know who those guys are in the NFC, but the young guns that everybody's looking for Mahomes. They have been looking for Mahomes since the end of 2018, every team. I'm not saying Stroud is Mahomes, but of the next young guns, he and Jaden Daniels, to me, are set apart. A couple things. That play that Stroud made on the bad snap where it looks like, and they're in trouble at that point. I mean, the Chargers have control of that game. Now you're going to have a bad snap. You either fumble it and give them a short field, or you're going to give them the ball and a chance to take an additional lead or more, add to the lead. He makes a Mahomesian play. Not only does he recover it and prevent disaster, he's a backbreaker by finding the Iowa State kid for the big play. That turned that game 180 degrees. 180 degrees. There are very few quarterbacks who can make that play. What Daniels did is drive in a playoff game, didn't need a touchdown. Usually the litmus test is 75 or 80-yard drive, down 4, less than 4 minutes. Who can do that? Patrick's done it over and over and over and over again. In the playoffs, we've seen him do it. So Daniels did that yesterday. Field goal, not a touchdown, but nonetheless, that's a big drive to win that game. But Stroud, because of his quick release, the ball comes out so fast, and he can make an off-schedule play and be accurate on his throws. Nobody's Patrick. Patrick can change his arm angle and make a Salvador Perez throw to second base at the point of the bag. That's what Dana and I give the analogy. It's a Salvador Perez throw to second. Pat can do that from above his head, at his shoulder, under his elbow. He can do all that. Stroud's, the ball's out so fast. It's lightning fast, and he can throw it with accuracy. To me, sets Stroud apart, who already has 2 playoff wins now. Last year, he was the youngest quarterback in NFL history to win a playoff game. Now he's got 2 in 2 years. Of all these gaggle of guys that everybody wants to make the next Mahomes, he's the next C.J. Stroud. And I think he's got a chance to be really, really good over time. He's good right now.
I just hate that, and we were talking about this earlier, Rob and I, that everything that we're saying about Herbert now entering his 6th, 7th season as a starter, we were saying the same things heading into his 2nd or 3rd season. Like at some point, either the conversation has to evolve and develop, or we just have to acknowledge, hey, this is who you are. And again, that it factor that we're talking about, I just don't necessarily see it with Justin Herbert, and the fact that we have done this now with different coaches and different offensive coordinators, and it feels like we keep coming to the same spot is just a little frustrating. Last thing here, and I'll get you out of here with this. You just saw this team a month ago come into Arrowhead. What stands out to you when you look at the Houston Texans? You mentioned C.J. Stroud. You mentioned the defense. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game, but you're looking at a team that has a top pass rush, a team that might have the best corner in the National Football League in Derek Stingley. There are a lot of things on this Houston Texans team. What stands out to you?
Second best corner might be Lassiter. That play he made the other day is as good a play as you'll see a corner make. That would look like a young D-Hop playing corner. He snatches the ball in the interception in his hands with his arms extended and was incredible on coverage. I think Lassiter is a blossoming star. Stingley's very aggressive. And as a secondary, they were second in the league only to the Vikings in the terms and numbers of interceptions, number 1 in the AFC. What stands out is they're an explosive defense. They're fast and explosive, and they pounced on the Chargers. They pounced on Herbert. They made incredibly athletic plays defensively that you don't see very often. So for the Chiefs, be the Chiefs. But even if you're a receiver, you're Xavier Worthy and you're Juju or you're Justin Watson and you're down the field at 20 yards, life is only beginning because these cats will come in and rip your flesh. And you have got to run your routes precisely. You have got to protect, right, that 1 second of protection that Pat needs. Pat will get it there, but run your routes precisely and be very tough when you catch the football because these dudes, if they don't pick it, are trying to swat it or rip it. They live off that. And this is, to me, the most comprehensive secondary because they get Alshire back. They did not have Alshire in the game on December the 21st, and he's a hitman, right? He is what he is. But now you have him playing safety. And so he's roaming around with all these other athletic DBs. Eric Murray, former Chief, had the pick 6. They're just an opportunistic, fast, athletic, pick-you-apart secondary to me that I think is comprehensive, maybe the best in the league.
That is Mitch Holthus joining us on the show today. His appearance on the show is presented by Silverstein Eye Center. Achieve your best vision and experience outstanding patient care at Silverstein Eye Center. Also by GEHA. They are a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch, I hope we do this 2 or 3 more times. That means you're going back to New Orleans.
Let's go. Tonight, Lee Summit East. We've had a little switch in gears here, but aren't we into equality?
Of course.
Have you been on Players Only yet with Dana
I haven't
Hughes?
been on there.
How about, because only players can be players,
yeah.
right? It's like, whoa. Are we, feels like discrimination to me. Players only. Like you and I can't get on that show. Dana Hughes will be on the Chiefs Kingdom tonight.
Oh, my goodness.
We're opening the doors to all. And so, but we can't, you and I can't, Rob can't get on it. I don't think probably Fesco's been on it. Can't get on Players Only. That's only players playing, right? But, Dana will be on the show tonight. It'll be fun. We'll have a blast.
I just want you to keep Sean Barber off of your show. That's all I want you to do.
Barbershop.
Keep Barbershop
No,
off.
man, Barbershop's the greatest. I got his rookie card. Man, Spider, number 4. He wore number 4 at Richmond. He was ahead of his time. He's a genius. He's Spider-Man, Sean Barber. There's no equal.
That is Mitch Holthus joining us in studio. Coming up on the other side, I saw something I've never seen before in the wild card round. I'll tell you what it is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hi, it's Derek Johnson, and I know there's nothing better than being part of a team. A group of great people you can count on and learn from. The Sheet Metalworkers, Local Number 2, are growing their team and looking for quality men and women who want to build Kansas City's future. While you're making KC a better place, you'll also get great pay and benefits while gaining lifelong skills. Explore the possibilities at sheetmetal2.org. That's sheetmetal2.org. And take a step towards a fulfilling and rewarding way of life.
Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City, now open. Dine on mouth-watering appetizers, then feast on one of our 6 American Wagyu burgers, including the Bacon Jam Burger and Blazing Burger. Wash it down with your favorite ice-cold beverage, all while watching the game on one of our 45 TVs. Dine in or carry out. Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City always hits the spot. Brew Brothers and Brew Brothers Express are now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Chiefs, appears every week on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, Inc. GEHA is a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Team, I'll be real with you. Time isn't on our side. The Super Bowl is only getting closer. So I'm asking you all, what's it gonna be? Are you gonna do the same old, or are you gonna step it up this year? Who's going to the Verizon Super Bowl Fan Fest right here in Kansas City? Are you gonna join us for a Super Bowl experience like no other? Catch the game while hanging out with the league's most legendary players. Enjoy live music. Crush game day bites. The Super Bowl only comes once a year. Verizon Super Bowl Fan Fest. You in?
It's all going down at Kansas City Live in the Power and Light District. Tickets are limited. Don't miss out. Visit your local Verizon store and find out about free tickets today. Must be 18 years or older or accompanied by parent or legal guardian to attend. Terms apply. See VerizonFanFest.com for details.
Pick up your phone and put in GiveMeTheVin.com. Highest money, quickest offer, $2,000 to $200,000. Top car buyer in the United States is GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Shamrock Roofing and Construction. ShamrockRoofer.com.
Hey folks, it's Karen from Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Thank you for making Shamrock Roofing one of the top 30 roofing companies in the nation. We're family owned and ready to help you with your roof today. Inspect, repair, replace. One call does it all at Shamrock Roofing. Visit ShamrockRoofer.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
A 2-car crash closing the left lane of southbound 35 just past the 18th Street Expressway, and a stalled car northbound 35 just before 7th Street Trafficway. That is stopping traffic in the left lane as well. Multi-car crash northbound 35 just past 119th Street on the Metro's southwest side. 2 right lanes closed. Looking at things backed up to East Old 56 Highway. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Chiefs fans, it's Justin Reed. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home of Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right. Now, maybe you guys can think of an instance in which this happened. I cannot think of a time that this had happened, but maybe. I just don't remember. 913-586-7965. So, yesterday, I'm watching the game with Sean Barber. We're sitting there, we're talking, we're having a good time. It was like during a commercial break, so you're kind of paying attention, but you're kind of not paying attention. And out of the corner of my eye, I see Josh Allen talking to the official. Now, you might be wondering, why is this a big deal? Why are you talking about this on my drive home? It was how and where he was talking to the official. Josh Allen is sitting on the bench. And the official is over on the Buffalo sideline talking to the quarterback of the home team. It just looked and felt off. I'm not saying that officials and players can't have conversations. Of course they can. They usually happen on the field of play. You don't see umpires go into the dugout and are talking to the starting pitcher about the strike zone, we would all think that's odd. You don't see a basketball official sit on the sideline and now he's sitting next to Bill Self and they're breaking things down, or he's sitting next to LeBron James or whomever NBA superstar. Can you guys tell me a reason why an NFL official would leave the field of play to go over to a sideline to discuss anything with the player? And then when Josh Allen is asked about it, because of course, why will we not ask you? Something unusual happened in the game. This is what Josh Allen had to say about this interaction.
When the ref came over to talk to you, like all the way to the bench, what was he saying? What was going on?
Was that after I wasn't happy with what was going on, and I was yelling a little bit, and he just said, don't be yelling. So, my bad. Sorry to Bill.
Did he apologize?
I won't say anything about that.
Josh Allen told about 4 lies in that 20-second clip. He then, anytime you get asked a straightforward question and then you re-ask the question like you didn't hear, it's like, oh, you mean the only time in the game in which the official came over to the bench to talk to you? Why would you leave the field of play to do this? Text line, help me out here. Am I crazy? Because I've been around long enough to know that if there was a video of Patrick Mahomes sitting on the Chiefs sideline and there is an NFL official that comes over there to talk to Patrick Mahomes, and when he then leaves the Bills area, he pats Josh Allen on the helmet. I'm sitting there, I can't believe it. I'm talking to Barbershop, who played in the NFL, multiple teams. I've never seen that before. I could not believe what I was watching during the playoffs. I'm serious. I am not joking. I am not being hyperbolic. I don't think that official should be allowed to referee the rest of the playoffs. I've never seen anything like that before. I don't want just Josh Allen's side of the story. I want his side of the story too. What made you leave the field of play to go discuss something with the player? For a league that tells me integrity is paramount, how can you have this happen on national TV in front of 20 million people with one of the 5 most important players in the National Football League? That doesn't look funny or odd to anybody, because it looked to me like he was going over there to apologize for missing a call. Because if you remember, there was a holding call that didn't happen in the end zone that I actually think was a holding call. Josh Allen was mad about it. And then the next dead period, the official went over there to apologize to him for it and say, my bad. You can't do that. It's one thing if this had happened on the field. That's where you're supposed to have these conversations with the official, on the field. And if he's upset at how you're communicating with him, the place is to not to go over to Josh Allen's area to discuss it with them. The place is to do it when he gets back on the field. There's commercial breaks. We've all been to a football game before. There's players on the field during the commercial break. If you got something to say to Josh Allen, go up to him and tell him, hey, I don't like the way you were talking to me. Don't do it again, or I'm going to hit you with the penalty, or whatever officials have to say. This is highly inappropriate. You should not be able to do this. That official, Bill Vinovich, should not be allowed to referee the rest of the... You have to have a standard. And this whole thing felt off. It looked off. And again, if this was Patrick Mahomes, if this was the quarterback of the Chiefs, who everybody thinks get favorable calls and is the NFL darling and the NFL is rigged and they want him to win and they won't call anything on Mahomes. If there was a video of Mahomes and a referee having that level of interaction, the internet would break. It would crash is what would happen. You cannot do that. That is unacceptable. Rob, did you notice the same thing? Am I the only one that saw this? Text line 913-586-7965. This is crazy that this happened.
It was one of the weirder things. And I think what made it, at first I didn't think it was weird. And I think I felt that way because on the broadcast, Nance and Romo acted like this is normal. Like, I think Romo made a joke like, oh, he's clearly having a conversation with Josh about that no holding call in the end zone. And Nance is like, yep, looks like they're having a quick conversation about it. And Bill's back to the field. Like, everyone was like, oh, they act like that was normal. And then the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I thought, I have never, ever, ever seen that before, ever, in the National Football League. I have never seen whether it be a coach, whether it be a player, whatever, they come over to on your sideline, on your bench, and talk to you. It's one thing like a coach is, in the huddle, and they kind of pull them out. Hey, coach, here's how, it's going to be this. Here's the situation. But they went onto the bench, sought out Josh Allen, and then Josh Allen's story is weird. Like, he went down there, he came all the way over to me to tell me to stop being mean to the refs. It's so odd.
I'll play it one more time. Fellas, we've all been caught in a lie before. Homegirl confronts you. Hey, who are you over there talking to? Tell me that he didn't respond like somebody is lying. He repeats the question. He acts like he had no clue what you were talking about. Like, oh, yeah. He gives a BS answer and then doesn't want to give you any more details. Fellas, we've all been caught in a lie like this before.
When the ref came over to talk to you, like all the way to the bench, what was he saying? What was going on?
Was that after I wasn't happy with what was going on, and I was yelling a little bit, and he just said, don't be yelling. So, my bad. Sorry to Bill. Huh?
Did he apologize?
I won't say anything about that.
Okay, all right. The NFL's amazing. I'm serious. It's amazing. The things that can happen in a football game and we just look past, they could never. If that happened in the NBA, there'd be a federal investigation on what happened in the NBA. You've never seen a baseball umpire go over there and start talking to the pitcher about the strike zone. This is crazy to me. I know I'm not crazy in thinking that this is off. All right, coming up on the other side, let's talk about Mike Tomlin. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. If I was the Steelers, I would trade Mike Tomlin. I think their relationship has come to a close, and I think it's time for them to go in opposite directions. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-353-9057. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-353-9057. 800-353-9057 or biglou.com.
When a KU versus K-State rivalry game begins, emotions run high. Legends are created. School pride hangs in the balance. Memories that last a lifetime will be made. Because each game is the most important game in history. At least, until the next one. Get in the game with your chance to win up to $50,000. The Rivalry Riches instant ticket from the Kansas Lottery. See kslottery.com for details.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly.
Coming up this Sunday in the divisional round of the Pro Football Playoffs, one of the most anticipated games of the year as Buffalo hosts Baltimore, two MVP candidates at quarterback in the betting market right now. Game is a pick'em. Pick the winner of the game, total sitting at 51.5. So this is going to be a big-time bet your opinion game. Who do you think is going to win? I think it's going to be Baltimore. Baltimore won when these two teams played way earlier in the season. I think Baltimore is going to run all over this Buffalo defense. I think Baltimore might win by 10. So give me Baltimore to pick 'em in Buffalo on Sunday. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app and take your game to the next level with the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked #1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Oh, Downy in the rinse straight.
Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
Business taxes. We're stressing about all the time and all the money you spent on your taxes.
This is my bill?
Now Business Taxes is a TurboTax small business expert who does your taxes for you and offers year-round advice at no additional cost, so you can keep more money in your business. Now this is taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com/business. Only available with TurboTax Live full service.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by the Missouri Air National Guard. Serve your community your way. Serve your country and build a brighter future with the Missouri Air National Guard. Top-notch training, tuition assistance, and bonuses up to $50,000. Missouri Air National Guard St. Joseph. Aim high. Find your path today. Go to ang.com/MO.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
A two-car crash closing the left lane of southbound 35 just past the 18th Street Expressway, and a stalled car northbound 35 just before 7th Street Trafficway. That is stopping traffic in the left lane as well. Multi-car crash northbound 35 just past 119th Street on the Metro's southwest side. 2 right lanes closed. Looking at things backed up to East Old 56 Highway. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Kane is in the building.
Welcome to your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
There's actually a lot happening in the NFL. We have seen 5 wild card games so far. 4 of them were not really worth your time. Last night was actually very fun between the Commanders and the Buccaneers. We had a very thrilling ending, and we have coming up later today what I think could possibly be the best game of Wild Card Weekend. We have the Vikings playing the Rams. That game has been moved to Glendale, Arizona, with everything that is going on in Los Angeles. Certainly thoughts and prayers to everybody who has been affected by the wildfires in California. The Rams essentially had a bye week last week. We know Sean McVay's track record, a healthy Matthew Stafford. I think the game is going to be pretty close. And Minnesota, they were one of the 5 best teams in the league this year, but they were just in the wrong division this season, and now they have to go on the road in the first game of the postseason. We'll obviously give you our reaction to that coming up tomorrow. We might give you a 2-leg parlay. You got your final day of no sweat bets today on FanDuel, so we might end up doing that before the end of the show. I just saw this really quickly, Rob, and I do want to talk about Mike Tomlin. So a coach told CBS Sports that this season, the biggest issue in his locker room was actually not name, image, and likeness. It was also not social media. It was players upset with their college rating on the video game, College Football 25. He even said that he had a couple of players come into his office to discuss his low rating. That's what we need more of in college athletics. I'm happy this is back. Next year, when it's a thing again, we need to get back to players arguing about their ratings. This happens for Madden. This happens for NBA 2K. I'm happy now that college football players, if you don't think your rating is where it should be, get better. Start working harder in the offseason to get your rating where it needs to be. I'm so happy that the college football video game is back.
I'd love to know how that conversation went. It's not like the coach controls the ratings. Hey, coach, my speed rating is not great. What do you want to do about it? I coach college football. I don't run the rating systems for EA Sports. Why are you coming to me like this?
Hold on now. This is the thing. You know I love a good relationship analogy. Sometimes your wife has come to you complaining, not because she thinks that you can solve the problem, just because she wants somebody to listen and empathize with her. She doesn't want you to offer up any suggestions. She doesn't want you to say anything. She just wants you to be like, oh, man, that is right. You're right. No, she just wants you to agree for 5 minutes, and then she'll be fine. I'm 19 years old. I'm not completely rational. I want to come in here, and I want to talk to you about why I'm a 78 on this game when I think I should be an 85, and I just want you to listen, coach. That's all I need. I'm all for college players arguing about what their ratings should be. All right, let's talk about Mike Tomlin. We all acknowledge that Mike Tomlin is a phenomenal coach. And Mike Tomlin got off to as hot of a start as any coach has possibly ever gotten into starting an NFL career. In his first 5 seasons, his team won double-digit games in 5 of those years. He won a Super Bowl in his second year and went to and lost the Super Bowl in his 4th season. Early Mike Tomlin was incredible. And then ever since Obama left office, things ain't really been so hot. Since then, since Obama left office, Rob, he has won 3 postseason games. He has not won a postseason game since January of 2017. So we are talking about a long time since they have been that kind of team. This is a very simple question that I have for the Pittsburgh Steelers. What kind of organization do you want to be? What is the goal of what you're trying to accomplish? If you want to live a comfortable life, you can do that. Mike Tomlin is going to give you a comfortable life. You can settle. Some of you have been in a relationship with somebody where it was good. You don't fight with this person. You get along with this person. But deep down, you kind of know that there is something missing and this relationship doesn't have the spice that it needs. But you can stay in this relationship and live a very comfortable life. But some people say, hey, I think there's more to a relationship to this. I want something more. I think there's something greater that's out there. And you leave what is a very comfortable situation in the hope of finding better. That's what I think it's time for Pittsburgh to do. Pittsburgh has won double-digit games in 3 of the last 5 years. Pittsburgh is not bad by any means. They haven't won a playoff game in any of those years. Not just not winning a playoff game, they haven't been close in any of those years. There have been 28 different head coaches that have won a playoff game since Mike Tomlin has. Jacksonville has won 3 postseason games since the last time that Pittsburgh has. Cleveland has won a playoff game more recently. I'm talking about the dregs of the league, the bottom of the bottom. Over the final month of the season, there were 3 teams that didn't win a game. One is Tennessee, who got the number 1 overall pick. Second was Cleveland, who got the number 2 overall pick, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's over. I know it's hard to walk away from something that feels comfortable, and right now it feels comfortable with Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin has proven one thing over the last decade. You will not bottom out. You will never be the Indianapolis Colts with Mike Tomlin. You will never be Tennessee. You are never in contention to get the number 1 overall pick if you are them. But you're also not in contention to win the Super Bowl. When was the last time that you legitimately felt like Pittsburgh could win the Super Bowl? It hasn't happened in this decade. I was here. You guys didn't believe in them the COVID year back in 2020 when they got off to that hot start. It always felt fluky. They started 11-0. They ended the season 12-4 and lost their first playoff game. For the last 4 years, there has never been a second in which we have discussed Pittsburgh as being a legitimate contender to Kansas City. So they haven't been that contender in at least 5 years. In 2019, they went 8-8. They went 9-6 in 2018. The Steelers have not been a relevant threat at any point during the Patrick Mahomes era as a starter. If that's not a sign of, hey, maybe this thing isn't working and maybe there's something better out there, sure, it could be worse. Nobody is saying you can't get worse than what Pittsburgh is, but is the goal to just be comfortable and be in contention to be one of the 14 playoff teams, but never in the conversation of being one of the 3 to 5 teams that can actually win it? Because that's where Pittsburgh is right now. Pittsburgh has no chance of winning a Super Bowl. And I think they've given Mike Tomlin a bunch of different ways. They've given him the first-round pick quarterback. They gave him a cheap veteran quarterback. They gave him Justin Fields. It wasn't that long ago you guys thought that Justin Fields should stay in Chicago and they shouldn't draft Caleb Williams. They have given you pieces to, hey, maybe be a little bit dangerous, win a playoff game, be what Washington is, be what Houston's been, win a couple of playoff games, be on the right direction. It feels like they're stuck in neutral. That's what it feels like with Pittsburgh. They're stuck in neutral. They feel in a very similar place to where Philadelphia was with Andy Reid. And I know that Andy Reid left Philadelphia and went off and had a lot of success. So have the Eagles. They won the Super Bowl afterward. They've been to another Super Bowl. They're maybe the best team in the NFC this year. It's not like things went terrible for the Eagles after that. I don't know if Philadelphia wins the Super Bowl if Andy Reid is still there. They needed a new voice and a change is what they needed. They needed something new. They needed something different. And then eventually the coach that got them to that Super Bowl, they needed somebody else new, and they got Nick Sirianni, who has done a decent job in Philadelphia. They got a shot this year to go back and win another Super Bowl. It's just not working with Mike Tomlin anymore. I would trade Mike Tomlin. Would the Cowboys right now trade for Mike Tomlin? Would the Bears trade for Mike Tomlin? I would try to get a first-round pick and start over. You're Pittsburgh. It's not like you wouldn't get a good job. If you're Ben Johnson, would you rather have the Raiders job or the Steelers job? You got a great organization, and you got a patient ownership group. They've given Mike Tomlin since 2007. It ain't like Tomlin just got here. Tomlin's been there since Rob was a junior at Blue Valley Northwest. Rob just got married 8 months ago. They've given Mike Tomlin a lot of time to take that next step, to look like a Super Bowl contending team, and we all watch the NFL. We watch the AFC. They're not close to Kansas City. They're not close to Buffalo. They're not close to Baltimore. They're not close to Houston. Pittsburgh is the 7th or 8th best team. I ask you right now, would you rather be Denver or Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh doesn't have a quarterback. I'm not really sure if they have the right head coach. Denver's got a little hope. Would you rather be the Chargers or the Steelers? That's kind of what the Chargers are. Chargers, they win 10 games. They win 9 games. They lose in the first round of the postseason. We're sitting here making fun of the Chargers. And some people are advocating to give Mike Tomlin an extension. I wouldn't do it anymore. I would move on from Tomlin if I was the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now's time. It's a clean break. You've been here long enough. You move on. You take your first-round pick. You use those assets. You go get your quarterback. You will have the most desirable coaching vacancy that's out there. Go get Ben Johnson to be your next head coach and try something different. Try to find your Doug Peterson like the Eagles did and try to go win a Super Bowl. You are not winning a Super Bowl on the path that they're currently on. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get back to the Kansas City Chiefs. We now know their opponent. They will play the Houston Texans coming up on Saturday at Arrowhead. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Traffic's brought to you by Anthony Plumbing, PHC. Got a big crash at northbound 35, just past 119th Street on the Metro Southwest side, closing 2 right lanes. Significant backups there. And another crash at southbound 35, just past 18th Street Expressway. That is closing the left lane. Money back guarantees and parts and labor warranties mean you aren't just buying products, you are securing your investment. For a limited time, receive a free furnace when you purchase an AC. Schedule your complimentary proposal online at anthonyphc.com. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Hey, it's Gold once again for my friends at Max Motors. In all the winter weather we just had, you were digging yourself out of the snow, and maybe you were navigating the roads and realizing how nice it is to have that four-wheel drive vehicle. Maybe you were thinking, what would it be like to have a four-wheel drive vehicle? Well, at Max Motors, they have new 2024 Ram 2500s up to $16,000 off MSRP. Stock number C240005. See dealer for details. Max Motors has the best financing options available with the max trade-in values in the Midwest. Max Motors, the easiest place to buy a car, maxmotors.com.
Buying and selling a home is stressful. You want the best team on your side, and that's my friend Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. To find the current value of your home, go to homesforsaleandkc.com. Click on the button, How much is your home really worth? Then the Sharp Homes team can give you options. If you want to skip the showings and open houses, you can do that with their instant offer program. Contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp. Google Sharp Homes Team or visit them at homesforsaleandkc.com.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
Missouri sports fans, I've got great news. Underdog is available to play in your state. Just like for me, Underdog is the best place to cash in on all of your sports takes. It doesn't matter the sport. You want to head over to Underdog to make sure you're part of over the 5 million happy players and $2 billion won. With their champs game, you can win up to 1,000 times your money by just choosing higher or lower on player stats, touchdowns, yards, interceptions, points, rebounds, whatever it is. They got your favorite leagues, teams, stars to choose from. And when you make those selections, you can sign up to win real cash prizes all season long. Underdog is the place to play champs. Download the app, sign up using promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, and deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code TAPP. Must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Team, I'll be real with you. Time isn't on our side. The Super Bowl is only getting closer. So I'm asking you all, what's it gonna be? Are you gonna do the same old? Or are you gonna step it up this year? Who's going to the Verizon Super Bowl Fan Fest right here in Kansas City? Are you going to join us for a Super Bowl experience like no other? Catch the game while hanging out with the league's most legendary players. Enjoy live music. Crush game day bites. The Super Bowl only comes once a year. Verizon Super Bowl Fan Fest. You in?
It's all going down at Kansas City Live in the Power and Light District. Tickets are limited. Don't miss out. Visit your local Verizon store and find out about free tickets today. Must be 18 years or older or accompanied by parent or legal guardian to attend. Terms apply. See VerizonFanFest.com for details.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Casey's has 8 new coffee roasts that have been described as having rich aromatics that entice any palate.
But, we're not sure what that means, so we just call it darn good coffee. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. Get a free any-size coffee with Casey's Rewards. See Casey's Rewards for details.
Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
What's up, KC? It's Trent McDuffie. Catch the play-by-play all season long with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your home of the Chiefs. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. You can also stream the show on YouTube and Twitch. We have so much to get into in this 5 o'clock hour. Before we move ahead, I would just like to play a very simple game. Rob, usually we play this game at the start of the 2 o'clock hour. We were a little bit busy. I kind of forgot. Raise your hand if your college basketball team won this weekend. It feels good that I can participate in this. I didn't get an opportunity to participate in this at any point really last year. So now that I get a chance to do this, Rob, my hand was up. Your hand was up. I see Willie the Wildcat over there. His hand was not up. Now, we'll play this game one more time here. Make sure you follow the rules. Raise your hand if your team got beat by 30 points this weekend. My hand is down. I can't raise my hand. K-State fan, what happened here? What happened? Because I remember not that long ago, man, y'all was doing victory laps. Y'all was throwing parades. You guys were Tang Gang. It was great. Now you guys getting 30 pieces at the crib. All right, good luck. Hey, good luck. You know what? I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on Wild Card Weekend talking about a team that's not going to make the NIT. I just want to make sure that we're covering the hits. I want to make sure that we're covering everything that happened this weekend in local sports. All right, I would like to start here very, very serious. There are two pretty tangible benefits to being the 1 seed. I think we saw both of those things this weekend with the Chiefs. Number one is obviously you advance to the second round. You don't have to play in the first round. We can have the conversation about rest versus rust, and Mitch Holthus talked about it. And Rob, you want to cut the answer? We can play it for people so they can hear what Mitch has to say about. I would say there are two major talking points heading into Saturday's game. Number one is who's going to play left tackle. We'll see if we get that question answered coming up tomorrow when Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and everybody speaks to the media. So we'll see if we get that question. And Mitch said it. This is the greatest amount of time that a quarterback has had in between his final regular season start and his first start of the postseason with Patrick Mahomes. What does that mean? Now the Chiefs have had long rest and long bye weeks before, and it didn't really seem to matter to them. They still got to where they needed to go. But I do think that that is going to be more and more of a talking point as we get closer and closer to the game. But number one is you automatically advance to the second round. That's big. You play less playoff games than a majority of all the other teams. That's number one. And the second thing that is a big benefit is it's your path. The Chiefs get Houston in the second round. And no disrespect to Houston, but you much rather play Houston than play the other two teams that are left in the AFC playoffs. But that's the reward that you get for dominating the regular season the way that the Chiefs did. You get the rest, you get to relax, you get to take care of your family life, take care of your home life, maybe go on a vacation with your girl. It is your bye week. Andy, I'm sure, gave the guys some time. Hey, for 2-3 weeks, or days, for 2-3 days, you guys do what you need to do. Don't pop up on TMZ. I don't want to hear any news stories about you guys. And when you come back, be back ready to work, and let's go win the Super Bowl. I'm sure that they got that time. So that's the one part of it. And then the second part is you knew who the three big dogs were in the AFC. You had Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo. And whichever team got the 1 seed, they were going to have a path where they didn't have to beat the other two teams. Last year, the Chiefs didn't have the ideal regular season, and they put themselves in a position where you had to be the team to win 2 of those games back-to-back. You had to go on the road and play Buffalo in the second round, while Baltimore got Houston, and then you had to go on the road and beat the Baltimore Ravens. Now, you won both of those games. Congratulations. This year, you're the team that gets to host the AFC Championship game in theory, and now Buffalo and Baltimore, they got to play each other, and this is the way that I think it should be. I don't want to look too far ahead against Houston because I do have respect for Houston as a team, but Kansas City has lost one time in the last 20 months. I'm not that worried about this individual game. I feel pretty good heading into this game. But now, Buffalo or Baltimore, one of those teams has to do what you did last season. They got to beat the other team, and then they got to go on the road and they got to knock off the 1 seed. This is how the AFC was supposed to be. So, Rob, as we're heading into the divisional round, as we're going to take a look back to Wild Card Weekend, that was the thing that stood out to me the most is this is the reward of what you get by being the 1 seed. You get the rest, and you also, in theory, get the easier path than the other two teams that didn't do what you did in the regular season. And now, if you want to go to the Super Bowl, if you're Buffalo or Baltimore, you got to beat two really good teams in back-to-back weeks in order to go to New Orleans.
I think beyond just the rest factor, which is obviously enormous, and you laid out there perfectly, man, the biggest thing to me with the bye, and it's not some earth-shattering take, man, you got to avoid two bullies. I know Kansas City fans will talk about how they don't think Baltimore can actually beat Kansas City because Lamar's never done it, and they'll, disparage Josh Allen because he's never done the playoffs, and that's fine. I don't disagree with you, whatever. But there's a class system in the AFC. There's one in the NFC too. We don't care about the NFC as much. There's a class system. The Chiefs are probably in a class of their own, and then one notch below is Buffalo and Baltimore. Do you know what the advantage is of having the bye other than just the rest? You don't have to face both of those teams. You only have to face one. Buffalo or Baltimore is going to have to go through the other team and then likely go through Kansas City. It is the best possible case for the Chiefs. The Texans, you're right. I don't want to, crush the Texans. I have respect for the Texans, but they aren't in the same weight class. The Texans are the best featherweight fighter left in the playoffs. Hey, there's no disrespect to being a featherweight fighter. That's better than the average person could do, and you get a belt, and you get a lot of money, and you get fame, and you get notoriety. But you ain't a heavyweight. You ain't in the light heavyweight class. You aren't super famous. You're a featherweight. And the Chiefs don't have to face both number one contenders in their weight class. They only have to face one. And you know what usually happens when two really good teams face each other? Injury, wear and tear, roster attrition. So you will face them at likely less than their best. That is almost as important to me as anything else. The rest after 3 games and 11 days, is super valuable. Patrick Mahomes being able to kick his feet up and worry only about the birth of his child and not football for a month is fantastic. But beyond all that, the Buffalo Bills are going to have to play the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday, and the Chiefs are going to have to play a team that's not in that league, basically. They're basically getting a middle-of-the-pack type of team, and that's almost as valuable to me as the actual rest to heal the body.
I mean, you and I talked about there being 5 teams in the VIP room in the National Football League. And this weekend, 2 of those teams got the 1 seed, so you automatically advance. Detroit and Kansas City, they both advance. We've seen 2 of the other 3 of those teams play. Those other 2 teams did exactly what they were supposed to do. Buffalo was far better than Denver, and Baltimore was far better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now we'll see what happens coming up in just a little bit with the Minnesota Vikings, a team that you and I both think is in that conversation. The Eagles also did what they were supposed to do and clearly look superior to the Green Bay Packers. I do think that this year you have seen sort of the cream rise to the top. It is obvious the teams that can actually win this thing and the teams that can't. Houston is not a team that I think can win the Super Bowl. Kansas City obviously is one of those kind of teams, and I don't want to get too far ahead because we got all week to preview this game, but I think that you are going to see that showcase itself Saturday at Arrowhead. There is a difference between a Super Bowl contending team and a playoff team. We saw that last year whenever Houston went on the road to play the Ravens. I think we'll see something very similar come up on Saturday at Arrowhead, as Houston is a good team. This is just a fight above their weight class. I'm just not super confident in their ability to be able to go on the road and beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's obviously one side of it when taking a look at Wild Card Weekend. The other thing is this. I want to apologize to you guys. You guys have sat here for however long you have done it, and I'm grateful. And I have told you guys about the Chargers. And at one point, we blamed Brandon Staley for Justin Herbert's problems. It was the offensive coordinator. They were too aggressive on fourth down. It was the injuries. It has always been something with Justin Herbert. And heading into this game, just last week, we can pull the audio. I was talking about how, man, I felt kind of good about the Chargers. I felt like they were kind of salty in this. They got the better coach, the better quarterback. They had the best defense by a lot of metrics in the National Football League. No team gave up fewer points than the Los Angeles Chargers. I felt pretty good about the Chargers heading into the postseason. Have you guys heard the story about the Emperor's new clothes? The story is the Emperor is walking around and he doesn't have any clothes on. And everybody is telling him how nice he looks. And he's walking through the middle of town. And the only person that is honest with him is the kid. The kid sees that the Emperor doesn't have any clothes on. I'm telling you guys that you are the kid in this analogy. That everybody in the media, and I will put myself here, I'm at the front of the list. I have my hand up. Be mad at me. Have been telling you how good Justin Herbert is and how you guys are wrong about them and how this is a different Los Angeles Chargers. And now they got this coach and they got this weapon and how great Ladd McConkey is. We've been selling you the Los Angeles Chargers. The only people that have been saying, no, we don't want it, have been Kansas City Chiefs fans. You guys have seen through the nonsense. You guys have seen the Chargers for what they are. They're frauds. They're fraudulent is what they are. I want to read to you guys a definition of a word. The word is catfish, and it's a slang term. If you go on Urban Dictionary, this is what it defines a catfish as: someone who creates a fake online identity to trick others into believing that they are real. That's what Justin Herbert is. He has been masquerading as an elite quarterback right before our very eyes. 6'6", 235, throws for 5,000 yards, 35 touchdown passes. We get CBS Sports to make these cool graphics where it's, well, look at Justin Herbert's first 7 years of his career, and then look at Patrick Mahomes. Look at Justin Herbert's first 7 years, and look at Dan Marino. We come up with these cool stats to tell you how good Justin Herbert is, and then eventually it's time for you to go out there and prove it in a real game. Not these hypothetical games, a real game. I'm talking about wild card weekend against two weak opponents from the AFC South. The first time you lost was one of the most epic collapses in wild card history. The second time was you guys got completely outclassed by a team that scored 2 points in front of Beyonce on Christmas. Embarrassing. I am telling you that I have been had, hoodwinked, took, led astray, run amok. But I come to you guys asking for your forgiveness. I will never talk up Justin Herbert again on this show. Never. Under any circumstance. And if I do, I need you guys to hold me accountable is what I need you to do. Don't let me do it again. Don't let me talk up the Chargers. Don't let me believe in the Chargers. Don't let me tell you that this is different, because I know what the Chargers will do. Like a catfish, they got new pictures. Oh, the Chargers can't wait to go out in the offseason and they'll spend money on a big-time free agent. They'll go get T. Higgins to try to bring me back because they know I love T. Higgins, and they'll give him a legitimate number one weapon, and then they'll have Ladd McConkey, and then they'll go get another running back, and I will talk myself into the Chargers being different, how they're actually going to do something. They'll never do anything with Justin Herbert. He's not real. He's 26 years old. He has as many playoff wins as you and I do. He's 0-2. He wasn't close in either of those two. He threw 504 passes in the regular season and had 3 interceptions. He threw 32 passes on Saturday and had 4 interceptions. He is not real. He's the guy who shoots 90% from the free throw line in February, and then in March he missed 3 straight free throws with the next round on the line. I will never believe in Justin Herbert again. Ever again in my life. And if I do and you see me, slap me immediately. I don't care where I am. Text in, Carrington, you're an idiot. You're a loser. Don't ever let me buy into Justin Herbert again. I'm disappointed. I'm frustrated. I'm not doing it. And I'm also starting a new rule. This is for today and today only. If you call me Chargers Dot on the text line, I'm blocking you. I'm serious. I'm blocking you. I'm telling you right now, I don't want to be called that anymore. I'm changing my name officially. I don't want to be Cassius Clay anymore. I want you to call me Muhammad Ali. Don't call me Chargers Dot anymore. There was a time I used to embrace that, but my family has threatened to disown me. My mom wouldn't even let me in the house this weekend. She said, I don't want to be associated with you. Don't call me Chargers Dot on the text line. I'm blocking you. I can't do it anymore. I'm out. They've hurt me for the last time. I already cheer for Missouri. Why would I sign up for more recreational disappointment? I've got enough. I don't need any more. I don't want any part of it. So, Rob, are we straight now? I've apologized to you. I'm apologizing to anybody that's listening right now. I will never talk up the Chargers. I will never believe in the Chargers again on this show. Under one condition. For the remainder of today, don't call me Chargers Dot anymore. Or you're out of here. You'll never text the show again. You're gone. You want to do the hits?
Let's do the hits.
Okay.
Your workday is over.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with C-Dot and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number 1.
It's terrible, bro. They were a 3-point favorite, and they got dominated. I saw a stat. Can I read a stat to you? Turn the music down again. I got to get all this chargerness out of my system. It's been flowing through my veins for so long. The spirit of the Chargers have been flowing through me, and I'm trying to get it out. Over the last 10 seasons, there have been 214 quarterback performances in the playoffs. Justin Herbert's game on Saturday was 213th. The only playoff performance worse than Justin Herbert's in the last 10 years was Brian Hoyer's in the playoff game against the Chiefs back in 2015 or whenever that was, where the Chiefs beat him 30-0. You remember that was the Nile Davis game. He was 14 of 32. He threw 4 interceptions. He had a passer rating of 40.9. The only person who had a worse weekend than Justin Herbert was Jerome Tang. He was the only person who had a worse weekend. Never again will he fool me. No. He is Ryan Tannehill with better hair is who he is. He is Mike Glennon from a college that you actually know. I'm not doing this anymore with Justin Herbert. You have fooled me for the last and final time. You have fooled me.
Number 2.
There we go. Came to the hits are brought to you by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu.
I'm laughing. The beat overtook you.
Yeah, that was a lot. Speaking of Baker University alumnus Mike McCarthy is out of here today in Dallas.
He went to Baker?
I'm pretty sure he went to Baker, yeah.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Mike McCarthy,
I learned something today. I really did. I had absolutely no clue.
He is out with the Dallas Cowboys. That is the biggest story of the day in the NFL. 2-part question for you, Carrington. First and foremost, are you surprised by the disorganization and just genuine confusion that led to Mike McCarthy being fired a week after everyone else? And what's next for Jerry Jones and them Cowboys?
How can you be surprised at the Cowboys being the Cowboys? How can you do that? Are you surprised? Just last week, a team reached out to try to trade for Mike McCarthy, and the Cowboys declined it. They declined the opportunity to trade with him. And now they don't want him back as their head coach? No, I'm not surprised at all that the Cowboys don't have all their ducks in a row. I'm not surprised that the Cowboys' house is not in order. In fact, that actually checks out with what's happened the last 30 years right before our eyes, that they're not on the same page and they don't really know what direction that they're going. The question to me is, what's next for the Cowboys? Because they let Mike McCarthy go, and I understand it in some ways. Now, I don't really think they really gave Mike McCarthy the parts this season to go out there, and it always kind of felt like his house was kind of built on saying, the one year that you did something wrong, a year in which Dak Prescott didn't play the second half of the season, you brought back Ezekiel Elliott. Like, the Cowboys made a lot of unfortunate missteps along the way. But they have been on shaky ground. Mike McCarthy didn't come through. You set a standard. He didn't meet it. He's got to go. I get it. Who wants the Cowboys job right now? You've locked yourself into an over 30-year-old quarterback in Dak Prescott. You don't really have a whole lot of skill position players, and you got an owner that wants to be the superstar and face of the organization. Is the Cowboys' job a great job? If you're Ben Johnson, for example, and you are the number one candidate out there, are you taking the Cowboys' job? I don't know if you would take it. If I'm the Cowboys, I call the Steelers and see what it would take for us to get Mike Tomlin. That's what I do if I'm them. I get on the phone and I tell them, you know that we have a job opening and we're interested in, can we trade for Mike Tomlin? What would it take for us to trade for Mike Tomlin? I think that's the best possible thing that they can do. The Cowboys have the 44th overall pick in this year's NFL draft. I am offering that up right now for Mike Tomlin. I think that is fair compensation for who he is. You got a good, solid head coach, stable head coach, and you can move forward if you're the Dallas Cowboys. That's what I would do. I think that's their best case scenario for where they are. What direction do you think the Cowboys go? Who do you think their next coach is? I certainly hope. I understand who he is. If their plan to fire Mike McCarthy is to hire a Division I coach who has been in D1 for 2 years and just got completely outclassed in the Alamo Bowl, if that's the plan, they deserve all the bad things that can possibly happen to them for making that decision. We all love Deion. He's great. He's a great showman. It works in college when you can convince kids to come play and sign up for the primetime experience. I don't know if that's working as the head coach of the National Football League team. I don't know if you're walking into a meeting the same way that you did in Colorado and tell the players, I'm bringing my luggage with me and it's Louis. I don't know if you can tell that to a group of NFL players, some of them that make more than you do.
I don't think it will be Deion, but Deion's name is going to be floated a lot in the next however long this job is open. I think the answer is Kellen Moore, who I think the Cowboys are going to hire. I think he played there as a backup quarterback. Yeah. They hired him as OC. Yeah, he has Cowboy roots, and we had RJ Choppy on the show earlier. He does the morning show at 105 through the Fan in Dallas, and he said something that just stuck out to me. Jerry Jones was to hire someone that he gets the credit for finding that person or bringing back that person's career because they're a retread head coach. Jerry Jones is not interested in winning. He's interested in the credit that comes along with winning. And Kellen Moore would check those boxes. Kellen Moore would probably do some winning in Dallas, and everyone would be happy with the winning. It would be very Mike McCarthy-ish, but Jerry Jones get all the credit for finding this hotshot young guy, making him OC, and then turning him into a head coach guy. He's the OC in Philly now. Look how good Philly. It feels like that's the way it's going to go, and that just feels very underwhelming for the Cowboys.
So coming up on the other side, there's a couple of things that I want to do. Number one, I think all of the remaining playoff teams have a certain thing in common. I'll tell you what that is. And I also want to play for you guys what Mitch Holthus had to say. I think there's two major questions that the Chiefs are going to be faced with this week coming up. It is the rest versus rust argument, and did the Chiefs have too much time off? And who is their starting left tackle is going to be? I think it should be Joe Thuney, but I wouldn't put it past them to have DJ Humphries be their left tackle. They move Joe Thuney back to his original position, and that's their offensive line for the Houston game. So two major questions. We'll get to it next coming up. Keep it right here. It's 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Fellas, it's the new year, and for many of us, this is a time to reflect and make some positive changes in your life. And if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction and you're tired of the frustration and embarrassment that it causes, it's time to pick up the phone and call Heartland Men's Health. Resolve your ED today, and at Heartland Men's Health, they have treatments that work when all your other options have failed you. And with a success rate of over 90%, you can see instant result. Do you remember the first time that this happened? You thought it was going to be a one-time thing, but then it happened again and again. But that's perfectly fine because there is a cure. This is a treatable problem if you just pick up the phone and call my friends at Heartland Men's Health. They have successfully treated men's across the metro, and for just $100, you can get your initial visit, a medical consult, some tests, and a test dose. And if this doesn't work in the office, then your visit is on the house. So pick up the phone and change your life. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com with 3 locations around the metro to serve you: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
At Shane Company, we'll help you create a ring as unique as your love story. We have the biggest selection of diamonds in all shapes and sizes, and center stones in an array of colors, including sapphires in blue, pink, green, lavender, and more. Just the other day, a couple picked out a blue sapphire that perfectly matched her eyes, and they left knowing her ring was truly one of a kind. That's what happens at Shane Company. Come check us out. You might just fall in love with something unexpected. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
When it comes to financial goals, everyone has that one thing you want to accomplish. Raise your credit score, give your kitchen a well-deserved glow-up, or eliminate credit card debt. At Main Street Credit Union, your main thing, well, that's our thing. It's what we're passionate about, helping you achieve your main thing. So bring us your wants, your needs, and your goals. We'll provide you with the tools to achieve them. Go to mainstreetcu.org for more information.
I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City, now open. Dine on mouth-watering appetizers, then feast on one of our 6 American Wagyu burgers, including the Bacon Jam Burger and Blazing Burger. Wash it down with your favorite ice-cold beverage, all while watching the game on one of our 45 TVs. Dine in or carry out. Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City always hits the spot. Brew Brothers and Brew Brothers Express are now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Zero, like in 0% financing. Zero is back. Up to 0% financing on select 2024 and 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. Yeah, we did that too. And we're Google's highest review rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. 0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Google highest review rated Subaru retailer in Kansas City based on 2023 Google Analytics.
Dick Ray, he's your heating magician. Dick Ray, he's a man on a mission. In the dead of winter when the furnace is broken and a chill is in the air, you can call Dick Ray and he'll fix it up with care. He's always there. Call Dick Ray, he's your heating magician.
Hey, it's Dick Ray. Schedule your furnace tune-up today. Only $79. Call 913-DICK-RAY.
It's better over here.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Real stories with Hellsberg.
After we met and we started dating, Nancy and I lived 150 miles apart, and I would drive my old jalopy car, and it was roughly a 3-hour distance. It took 3 years years I drove across that state back and forth dating her every weekend.
Persistence.
And I would have never stopped. I had a lot of energy back then. 36 years ago.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Park & Go, the best deals on airport parking.
Tackle your airport parking needs at Park & Go. Always the best service and always the best price at bookparkandgo.com. Open 24/7 and all spots are covered. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family owned and operated.
Join 96.5 The Fan and Bud Light for the Fans Football Show with Mitchell Schwartz or Sean Barber and Jay Binkley every Friday this football season starting at 6 at participating Buffalo Wild Wings locations. Enjoy $5 talls, prizes, and Chiefs gear. For a list of locations, go to 965thefan.com. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Looking at debris in the roadway from a previous collision southbound 35 just past the 18th Street Expressway. Left lane closed, so you're looking at traffic backing up behind the state line. Then once you cross the state line, you're looking at the northbound lanes at 35. Those are heavy up into downtown. And a two-car crash in Olathe. This is northbound 35 just before Santa Fe Street. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
Chiefs fans, it's Hollywood Brown. Welcome to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
All right. I've noticed a couple of things about the teams that are remaining in the NFL postseason. This is more of a message to the teams that are outside the club, not the ones that are inside the club. They got bottles, they got sparklers in there, they got pretty girls in there. Not you, you're in the club. I'm talking about the teams that are outside in the line, standing in the cold, asking why the doorman won't let them in. Look at the 4 teams that are left in the AFC. Kansas City spent the top 10 pick on its quarterback. Houston spent a top 3 pick on its quarterback. Buffalo, top 10 pick. Baltimore spent the first round pick. It's too many teams thinking they can do it a different way. It's too many teams thinking, well, I know this guy used to be really good, but now he's 42 years old. Let's trade for him and hope that it works. Every quarterback in the AFC was drafted in the first round as under the age of 30. I don't think that's a coincidence. Even if Houston had lost to the Chargers, guess what? The Chargers quarterback is under 30. Even if Buffalo had lost, guess what? Their quarterback, Broncos quarterback, is Bo Nix. He's under 30. If you don't have a capable quarterback under the age of 30 that you have spent a significant resource on, why are we talking about you? Look at the NFC, the Lions. I know that he was not their pick. Jared Goff, the second overall pick in the draft. Jaden Daniels, top pick. Jalen Hurts, second-round pick. Borderline Heisman winner. Great quarterback. Look at the Vikings. Look at the Rams. Matthew Stafford, number 1 overall pick. Sam Darnold, former top 10 pick. Sometimes football is simple. I know this is going to sound crazy, but usually the best NFL quarterbacks are the highest rated and highly touted draft prospects from college. It's like we know that at almost every other position, and then at quarterback, we think it can be different. Like you can get Will Levis in the second round and like, oh, well, we'll make it work. All right. I mean, he was the 7th quarterback taken. Look at where these guys were taken. Mahomes, 3rd quarterback on the board. C.J. Stroud, 2nd quarterback on the board. Josh Allen, 3rd quarterback. You're not finding your quarterback if he was the 9th quarterback in his class. That's not where you're finding your Super Bowl quarterback from. He might be capable. He might be viable. He might be all right. I'm not saying we don't get good 2nd or 3rd round quarterbacks, but if you think that you're hitting with the 11th quarterback in your class, you're wasting your time. If you think you're going into next season and you're going to try to squeeze some more magic out of Russell Wilson, I'm telling you that your season, it's not going to go very far. If you think that Kirk Cousins is coming in, Gardner Minshew, if that's your plan, you're not doing anything. If you're one of the other 12 teams in the AFC, for the last 2 seasons, it has been the same 4 quarterbacks, the same 4 coaches, the same 4 teams. Kansas City, Houston, Baltimore, Buffalo. What are we doing to counteract them? If you're the Raiders, if you're these other teams that are looking to get your program, your operation back on track, Have you heavily invested in your quarterback? Do you think you have it right at head coach? Because if the answer to either one of those questions is no, you're just out there playing football for the vibes. You're not competing for the playoffs. You're not competing to win the Super Bowl. And I thought that was the purpose of this. I thought that's why we're doing this. Pittsburgh, you guys don't have a chance. You might not have the right head coach, and you guys keep trying to play musical chairs. 1 year it's Duck Hodges. 1 year it's Mason Rudolph. 1 year it's stop it. Keep trying to find that guy. Find your Bo Nix. Find your Josh Allen. Find your under 30-year-old, highly touted, high draft pick quarterback. It's not that complicated. We had Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, on the show earlier today, and we asked him the big question. There are two major questions to me regarding the Chiefs heading into their postseason game. Question number one, who's going to play left tackle for Kansas City? We don't know yet. We'll see. Question number two is the age-old debate of rest versus rust. Here's what Mitch Holthus had to say about it.
Since the league has gone to 17 games, and the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs, for some of this roster, has played 6 seasons in 5. Those young guys that I mentioned, think about how many playoffs games. They've played 7 playoff games added to a 17-17-17. So that's 51. That's 58 games they have played in a 3-year span. And those have been high-stress games against the hardest schedule in the National Football League. So my point to you is to use the college football playoff argument is a worthy one, but they didn't play 17 games. And none of those teams played 58 games in 3 years. This team, for it to back up mentally and emotionally, I've seen what happens to this team. If you think I'm refreshed, so is Andy Reid, so is Patrick Mahomes, so is Travis Kelce, so is Justin Reed, so is Chris Jones. And if that leads to a slow start, I don't think it will last long. I don't think this is a team that wants to get down 24-7 to this Houston team like it did in 2019. But I'm telling you, the best chance this team has for a historic three-peat, which would transcend NFL history, it would be American sport history, is the fact that they got this bye in these 23 days to get ready for this push.
We'll talk about this as the week continues. I'm sure we'll get the Chiefs' answer to this. Patrick Mahomes is going to be on the show tomorrow. I'll ask him about the debate of rest versus rust. I'm sure Andy is going to be asked about this. You guys might not like the question, but it is a question that people are going to have coming into the divisional round. Kansas City has played by far and away their best football of the season, and then they just had a hard stop. They had a hard stop. At Christmas, they were done. Christmas was a long time ago. It was from Christmas until the 18th of January. That is a long time off. And for a team that has historically started slow in these games, how quickly do they come out on Saturday against Houston? And is this game maybe a little closer for comfort because it takes the Chiefs maybe 15, 20 minutes to kind of get going until they kind of look like themselves? I do think that's going to be a question that's asked. Maybe Kansas City comes out here refreshed, rejuvenated, first scripted 15 plays. They go right down the field. They don't answer any of those questions. But there aren't a lot of holes I think you can poke in Kansas City right now. Their quarterback is energized. They have both of their running backs. This is the deepest their wide receiver room has been, in my opinion, since the Tyreek Hill trade. Your defense is playing at a really high level. The Chiefs are coming in and should feel great about themselves. What could stop this run? What could stop what appears to me to be another appearance in the Super Bowl? It could be potentially starting slow against a team that we throw out the term and definition house money. I can't think of a team that has more house money than the Houston Texans. Very few people are going to be picking Houston on Saturday. You got a quarterback that's got a little special something. You got maybe the best defense left in the postseason. I'm not completely looking past Houston, but if Houston wins this game, it will be the biggest upset since Tennessee beat the Ravens, 6-7 years ago. That's how big of an upset I think this can potentially be. Kansas City is clearly superior to Houston in just about every single aspect of this game. What could help them pull off the upset? It could be the fact that the Chiefs have had an unprecedented amount of time off. Keep it right here. It's The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. Coming up, we'll get you ready for the final wildcard game coming up later between Minnesota and Los Angeles.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Get ready to elevate your game this NFL playoff season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. Because right now, all customers can get a no-sweat NFL same-game parlay for any game. All you need to do is place a 3-leg NFL same-game parlay, and you'll get bonus bets back if your bet doesn't win. Same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at an even bigger payout. So you can build your own or choose from one of the popular same-game pre-built models right there on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. Get your no-sweat same-game parlay today on America's #1 sportsbook app. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/KFNZ. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after a streak. Max wagers $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
It's playoffs time, KC. Rally House has the Chiefs gear you're looking for, including Chiefs official postseason gear and the latest styles fit for the kingdom.
Kansas, Missouri, Kansas State, Chiefs and Royals make KC great. Rally House, it's your city, it's your house, it's the Rally House.
Gear up in-store and online at rallyhouse.com.
In the time it takes you to actually board that flight from Group 8,
now boarding Premier Altitude Elite Club members.
you could have bought a Hyundai on Amazon. Yes, that Amazon, where you buy everything else.
Mid-tier Altitude Elite, feel free to board now.
So while you're waiting for them to make up new boarding groups, you can order your dream car and the dealer will have it ready in no time.
Now boarding groups 1 through 7.
So close. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details. Limited availability, pickup through participating Hyundai dealer in select markets.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for University Housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, it's Carrington here, and let me tell you about my new obsession, Daisy French Onion Dip. I love football season. I love snack season. So when you're eating chips, wings, or veggies and you're looking for that perfect complement, look no further than Daisy French Onion Dip. And now they have a ranch dip, and I'm telling you, this is a game changer. These are as good as homemade dips with real herbs and spices and ingredients that you'd find in your own kitchen. So go try the Daisy French Onion Dip today. Trust me, you'll love it. You can find it at a grocery store near you.
Hey, diamond lovers. Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. When it's this important, you want someone who knows exactly how to work with your budget. Not against it. Someone who knows you deserve a piece more beautiful than you've ever imagined. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've always sourced our diamonds and gemstones directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. So many in stock and ready to take home today. Create your dream engagement ring in 3 easy steps. Or pick a perfectly preset ring that's created by our in-house design team. Browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts for everyone in your life, from diamond and gemstone studs to must-have tennis bracelets and beautiful birthstone necklaces. With our everyday competitive prices and unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company is your go-to destination for fine jewelry. Visit shaneco.com and come in to see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi, golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself And my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 15. Weather brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Two-car crash southbound 635 at Shawnee Drive. On the shoulder, still seeing some slowdowns around it because it's right up in the same area of southbound 35 past 18th Street Expressway where there is a two-car crash now off to the shoulder, but still seeing brake lights there. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Make sure to follow The Drive on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I want to tell you guys a quick story before we get back to football. So this weekend, I took my daughter sledding. She is 4, about to turn 5. So this is her first time going sledding. Rob, she was really excited about it. Really excited. Are we going sledding? Yeah. Went to the hardware store, got the sleds. My mom and my sister came. It was the 4 of us. We were going to go sledding. So we walk up to the hill, and my daughter's she's a little nervous about it. You know, you're 4. This is your first time doing it. We go down the hill. I've never heard a shriek, a scream like that. I saw it on her face. I saw the fear as she was going down the hill. She gets to the bottom. She starts laughing, asking, can we do it again? I'm like, you must have had fun. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I don't know why I didn't think this whole thing through, because going down the hill, Rob, was a lot of fun. It was that walking up the hill. It was that walking up the hill. You start walking, and then I got to carry her. I got to carry the sled. I'm doing this. And I got back up there. I'm huffing and puffing. I'm like, maybe I should have found a different activity for us to do today. Now, it ended up being fun. You know, it was a good time. She had fun. We were having a great time. But the next day, Rob, I felt like I went 8 rounds with Mike Tyson. Young Mike, not the Mike that we just saw fight Jake Paul. Not that. I don't want to fight that one. I mean, I felt like I went 8 rounds. Parts of my body were hurting, and I didn't know I had muscles there before. The winter's tough. I had to shovel the snow a couple of days ago. That was tiring. I don't feel like summer is that tiring. I really don't feel like it's that tiring. I had to walk up that hill. I had ice and snow all on me. I'm tired. I'm carrying these sleds. It was a tiring experience. Rob, when was the last time you went sledding? When was the last time this happened for you?
College. Lawrence is all hills. You've been to enough KU basketball games, all hills. So
why you gotta say it like that? See what I mean? You be throwing a lot of shots there.
That's a fact. You've been to a handful of Kansas basketball games
I have been
in
to
your
a
life.
handful.
You recognize there's a lot of hills. You know what you do when you're in Lawrence to get a snow day? You pop a few ice cold ones, and you get out there with your sled, and you go up and down those hills. But that's different than doing it with a kid in tow. That would be a lot more work.
Is there certain hill, like in Brookside, they have Suicide Hill, so they're like, hey, this is where all the kids go. Is there a certain place in Lawrence that's known this is where the kids are going to go sledding at? Is there a spot?
There's one for the college kids, one for like the Lawrence kids. Like over by the football stadium, you go down that one, that's more like kiddie. On the other side of the football stadium, into the parking lot, it's a little more steep. That's where the kids are actually sledding, and it's a little more speed-oriented.
That's what I'm here for. It was funny watching it, as a kid, because in the beginning it's new, so you're scared. And then just over time, at first it was like, hey, can we go down together? So we had to then, I had to sit in the sled and she would sit in my lap. We would go down the thing. Or I'd be in one sled, she'd be in the other one. We'd go down. I'm kind of holding her all the way down and she was fine. By the end of this thing, she's grabbing the sled by herself and going down. And I'm like, you know what, man, I felt very accomplished on Saturday. I felt like I did something. This was basically my time leading into the first quarter of the Chargers game. And then I went there and I'm like, oh, man, you know what? I took the Chargers -3. I'm thinking, man, it's about to be easy, man. I'm about to go ahead and cash this. Yeah, it was a FanDuel donation is what I made on Saturday, a FanDuel donation. Now, this might be the least football way of describing a game ever. I think the Rams are winning today. I think the Rams are winning. I can just see it right now. At the end of the game, they're interviewing Sean McVay. He's telling you about how stressful this week has been and giving his thoughts and prayers. I can just see it, folks. I think the last game of the weekend, you can just see the sports story building right before our eyes. I think the Rams are pulling off the upset today. I had a lot of fun. We'll obviously get to more Chiefs and Texans as the week progresses. Tomorrow, Patrick Mahomes will be on the show. He will be on the show tomorrow. Really excited to catch up with him. It's been a while since he's been on the show. We'll start our transition and get you ready for the divisional round. Keep it right here on 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
MD Anderson Cancer